They love them in London, in Paris, in Tokyo, America, Scotland, and Canada, and Mexico. They say, I believe in the monster. I believe in the monster.
Well, Triple H, coming into the Elimination Chamber tonight, made a comment the other day, and he said that the Elimination Chamber was going to be an industry-changing event. Now, WWE, they throw around a lot of superlatives, and they throw big words around. They know how to hype things up. And you got to be very, very careful that you don't overhype and that you don't overpromise and underdeliver. So that was my concern when I first heard that the other day. Industry changing, right? It's like, okay, they need to have something really big planned if they're calling this industry changing. And then I saw PW Insider earlier today had the lineup for the show. And the segment with The Rock and Cody Rhodes was scheduled to go on in the middle of the show, which is what I figured. And they would close with the Elimination Chamber match because otherwise it wouldn't make any sense. If they were going to close with Rock and Cody, they have to have something big planned. Then as the night went on, it became very clear that something changed in the match order. And then we saw that the Rock and Cody segment was going to be closing the show tonight. And I said, well, if that's the case, then obviously they have something very big planned. And when Cody Rhodes tells The Rock, no, I am not selling my soul to you, we're going to get the reveal of the person who is in fact selling their soul to The Rock. And the only question is, who would that person be? There are few things in wrestling. You know, when I think back to John Cena, for example, I cannot tell you how many times over the years I have gotten emails from people asking me, do you think John Cena is going to go heel? Do you think John Cena is going to go heel? And I would always have the same answer. No, it's not happening. Because so many years have gone by that whatever little bit we have left of John Cena, they're not going to turn him heel. He can't invest the time that would be needed to make a heel turn effective enough. And then when he announced that this was going to be his retirement tour, a heel turn was the last thing on my mind because I figured, well, he's only got a year left, only got X number of dates, and he's going to be going to all these cities, and they're going to want to see John Cena. They're going to want to cheer John Cena, and the story is number 17. Can he win world title number 17? Problem is, coming into this year, John Cena has had a horrendous losing streak, okay? The man has not won a singles match in WWE in 7 years. So when he came back at the beginning of the year, he made the comment, he told everybody on the first Raw on Netflix. Remember what he said? He said, guys, I don't think it's going to happen. I've had a terrible luck as far as wins and losses. I really don't know. I don't think number 17 is going to happen. But the only way for it to happen is for me to go to the Royal Rumble and win. And if I can win the Royal Rumble, then I can punch my ticket to the main event of WrestleMania. And what happened? He went to the Royal Rumble and he lost. So that left the Elimination Chamber. And if WWE wanted John Cena in a title match, which it looked like they did, then the only pathway to that main event would be through the Elimination Chamber, which is why I picked John Cena to win the Chamber. I figured this is it tonight. They want him in that main event. He doesn't have to win the title, but he's got to win the Chamber, right? It's either him or CM Punk, one or the other. Just like in the Women's Chamber match. In my mind, it really only came down to two people, Bianca Belair or Liv Morgan. Who's it going to be? I said, you know what? John Cena on the men's side, Bianca Belair on the women's side. John Cena did, in fact, not only did he win the Elimination Chamber, but he tied Triple H all time with 4 Elimination Chamber wins. And then Cody Rhodes came out. And he came to the ring, and something just felt off, right? I mean, if you were watching the show, you probably felt the same way that I did, right? Something didn't feel right. Something felt rotten in Denmark. And Cody comes down. The only thing I was starting to question is whether or not they really were going to turn Cody. Because I've gotten a lot of comments from you guys on the streams about that. Oh, you know, Homelander Cody, heel Cody. And I said that would be the dumbest thing they could do right now. Because Cody is now what Cena used to be. The entire reason Vince McMahon didn't want to turn Cena in the first place. He got cold feet in 2012 when John Cena was this close to turning heel. And Vince said, no, we're not going to do it. Not going to do it. Can't do it. Golden Goose. Sells too much merch. So we never did get that John Cena heel turn, but that's what Cody is right now, right? The fans have stuck with him all year long. He is your top babyface. He is the face of your franchise. You don't turn that man heel, it would be Steve Austin at WrestleMania 17 all over again. But with John Cena and CM Punk, you don't really have that problem because as over as they are, and more so Cena's not full-time, right? This is it. Like, whatever you're going to do with Cena, you got to get it done now. But it's not like if you were to do something like that with John Cena, it's going to, affect the whole company if it doesn't work out because Cena's not the guy anymore. Cody is. So it wouldn't have made sense for them to have Cody sell his soul to The Rock. But I'm watching that final segment tonight, and Cody is standing in the ring, and The Rock has his arms outstretched, and he's ready to embrace this man. He wants Cody Rhodes to be his champion, and Cody Rhodes looks The Rock dead in his face, and he says to him, "Go fuck yourself." They didn't censor it or anything. Go fuck yourself. And everybody lost their mind. John Cena's in the background. Yeah, he's pumping his fist, right? He's all excited. I said, this guy, he could be really cheesy, but he's really hamming it up here, right? Something's about to go down. And sure enough, all it took was one look on the face of John Cena. He got a very serious, stern look on his face. You ever notice his face, by the way, is kind of, it's a square, basically. His face looks like a box, like a robot. It's very serious, and he looks at The Rock, and he kicks Cody Rhodes low. And you could see the look of shock on people's faces. John Cena turns heel in his retirement year. We are in 2025, and John Cena, if you could believe it, now think of all the WrestleManias that this man has been a part of going back to 2004. Because I'm pretty sure that was his first WrestleMania, right? He opened the show against Big Show for the U.S. title. John Cena is about to walk into his first WrestleMania ever as a heel. That says it all right there, as far as how long this man has been a babyface for. But they did what I never thought they would do. I didn't think they would do it. But I did say that if this was going to be the angle where they were going to have Rock enlist a corporate champion, it would be far more compelling for someone like John Cena or CM Punk to be in that role than, say, a Seth Rollins or a Drew McIntyre or a Logan Paul or any of the other guys that were in the Elimination Chamber tonight. The only two people that would have been a compelling choice were Cena or Punk. I thought, if anything, they would go with Punk. They went with John Cena. And they didn't make us wait until WrestleMania. We got the reveal tonight. And that is how they go off the air. The Hollywood crew. The Rock embodies Hollywood. It's like The Miz, what he said on SmackDown the other night, right? I'm from Hollywood. The Rock is Hollywood. John Cena. Why haven't we seen him for the last month? Because he's been filming another fucking movie. Right? He's embedded in Hollywood. We now have the Hollywood crew. Rock and Cena. The only thing missing is Batista. We just need Hollywood Batista back. We'll have a trio. I never thought they would do it. All he needs now is to get a tan and start showing up looking like the John Cena of old. The reason I love this, if they were going to do, and I said this last week, right? If they're going to do Cody Rhodes and John Cena at WrestleMania, it's basically John Cena against himself. That's fucking boring. I don't want to see babyface John Cena against babyface Cody Rhodes because it's like the same person. If they're going to do that match, even if he doesn't go full heel, at least let Cena show some heelish tendencies. But the story was right there all along. John Cena is desperate, right? He showed himself at the Royal Rumble press event when the show was over after the Rumble, and he sat down and he said, what's best for business is for me to win number 17 at WrestleMania. And I said, that's a very odd comment for him to make, because for John Cena to say, you know, what's best for business, I need to win, right? It's the antithesis of the John Cena character, right? He would never say something like that. That right there should have been the tip-off. And I said, it's a little strange. I didn't think, you know, anything of it like, oh, he's going to go heel, full-blown heel. But it's like, okay, the seeds were planted at least going back that far. John Cena, all he has to do now is come out on television this week, because the question now is, why Cena? Why, right? Why now? Why after all these years? Why sell your soul to The Rock, right? You don't have to do that. Future Hall of Famer, they call him the GOAT. What does he need to do that for? But it's very simple. It's a very simple story to tell. John Cena needs to win number 17. And he saw the opportunity slipping away. Yes, he won the Elimination Chamber, right? He did win the Chamber. So he guaranteed himself a title shot at WrestleMania. But he is going to do everything in his power to make sure in his final WrestleMania that he walks in the challenger and he walks out the champion, right? And that's the basis of the story that they can tell on TV to make it all make sense. But this, to me now, this shakes everything up in a way that makes this far more interesting than just plain old John Cena against Cody Rhodes. Now, all of a sudden, Cody, once again, for the third year in a row going into WrestleMania, he's facing this adversity, right? He's got obstacles now in front of him. Not only is he dealing with The Rock, who's going to be angry at him for embarrassing him in front of the world and saying no, because I'm sure The Rock is not used to having people tell him no. It's not a word he's familiar with. Not only did Cody Rhodes say no, he told him to go fuck himself. So now he's got The Rock pissed off at him. He's got John Cena now breathing down his neck. They had Travis Scott out there as their special guest. He was in the ring, by the way, Travis Scott was, during this entire segment. I'm sure some people aren't going to like that. I didn't mind it. I actually thought it worked because I just think it plays into the whole theme of Rock, being this big Hollywood bigwig, and he's going to have this big celebrity in the ring with him. So I think it worked. It didn't bring down the segment or anything like that. I think it kind of fits with the theme. But, you have Cody Rhodes now going into WrestleMania. What's he going to do, right? The deck is stacked against him yet again. We are going into WrestleMania, even though he's the champion. He's the underdog now. The deck is stacked against him. Don't think, by the way, that when this show was over and I saw Rock and Cena standing side by side, and I realized what this meant for Cody going into WrestleMania, that I didn't think, WrestleMania is going to be in Nevada this year. Nevada happens to be the home of another big WWE name, one that we did not unfortunately get to see at WrestleMania last year, who did not come out to assist Cody when he beat Roman Reigns to win the championship and finish his story. So there may be a way now this year to make up for last year. Maybe we get a Stone Cold cameo in the WrestleMania main event this year to fend off The Rock, right? What didn't happen last year could very well happen and make sense this year. That was one of the first things that came to my mind when they went off the air. I said, we can get the Stone Cold cameo that we didn't get last year. This obviously makes things a lot more interesting and exciting going into WrestleMania, because I honestly didn't think they were going to pull the trigger on this. And John Cena all of a sudden becomes a far more interesting story on television going forward. Now, I hope we get to see him on television on a fairly regular basis. I don't want to see Cena make one appearance and disappear for 4 weeks. I feel he doesn't have to be there every week, but they can tell this story. He's got to be there, though, to tell it, right? I don't expect Rock to be on the show every week. So hopefully we'll see more of Cena as we get closer to WrestleMania. But boy, does this blow everything up. And you talk about shaking the foundation of this company creatively, as we go into WrestleMania. A John Cena heel turn. People have been begging for it. People have been calling for it, hoping for it for years. A lot of people gave up on it. I was one of those people who gave up on it. Can it work with the right story? Yes, I think it can work. Look at what they did tonight. You got The Rock involved. Who knows who else may end up being involved, right? Look, we still got 7 weeks. Right? 6 or 7 weeks to go until we get to WrestleMania. A lot more can happen between now and then. But I didn't think I would see the day that this being his retirement year, that we would get heel John Cena back on TV. Not only kicking Cody Rhodes in the dick, but punching him in the head with a Rolex watch, hitting him in the head with the championship belt. John Cena is going to win number 17 this year. Maybe it'll be at WrestleMania, maybe it won't be. Cena's story now is not only going after the title of WrestleMania, but now Cena has a redemption arc that has to play itself out later in the year. John Cena is not ending his career as a heel. If he's serious about this being the final year, he will never set foot in the ring again. There is a redemption arc waiting later in 2025 where John Cena will circle back and will end his run as a babyface. So they have plenty of runway now as far as the stories that they want to tell going forward between now and the end of the year with John Cena. So that's a compelling element as well. There was a lot that went on this show tonight. Obviously, that's the big story that everybody is going to be talking about. It's the story that I'm talking about right now. But this was the Elimination Chamber. So we had 2 chamber matches, both of which I thought were excellent. We also had an unsanctioned match with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn that I thought was tremendous. And when it was over, I was wondering why we had no blood. Cut to the end of the show where Cody Rhodes is bleeding from the head, and it became very clear why we probably did not get blood in that unsanctioned match. John Cena is not the only one going to WrestleMania, though, and challenging for a championship. Bianca Belair, she also has punched her ticket. She will be challenging the winner of Rhea Ripley against Io Sky, which is taking place on Raw this Monday night. One of those two, if not both, she will be challenging for the Women's World Championship. Jade Cargill. There's another story. We've been wondering what's going on with Jade. When are we going to see Jade? Who attacked Jade? They got off to a fast start tonight by answering that question, or did they? We don't know for sure, right? It's certainly, it seems like we got our answer as far as who attacked Jade based on who she went after. But we don't know, right? We have to wait. We haven't even heard from her yet. We have to hear from her and see how that plays out. So that's another interesting story to follow. By the way, I mentioned Travis Scott. He was there tonight. One person who was there tonight, actually in the front row, and I don't believe they ever showed him or identified him on camera, was Drake. Apparently Drake was in Toronto. He was enjoying the Elimination Chamber. He made a minor appearance at the show, but there he was. See, so they had all the celebrities in the house tonight for Elimination Chamber, which on the whole was an excellent show. So let's talk about it. This is your WWE Elimination Chamber 2025 review. I am the Solomonster. Thank you for joining me here, all 3,500 of you, on a Saturday night, the first night here in the month of March. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Be sure to subscribe. Hit that like button as well. Where's my boy Boots? Boots is in here somewhere. He I don't know. He's lost. He's lost in the sea of humanity in here. I want to say thank you for the 50 gifted memberships from my boy Boots. Thank you, Boots. Yes, you can gift memberships at random to people. If you would like to do so, please go ahead and do that. Super chats are open. I paused them temporarily. You will see them popping up on your screen. We will read all of them. I know you have a lot of opinions about this show tonight, and I do want to hear from you guys. If you have questions, you have comments, predictions on where you think this is going heading into WrestleMania, be sure to drop them, and we will go through those a little bit later.
Why is Solomonster a Punk hater? Why does he hate Punk so much? What did he ever do to him?
Spreading rumors about me again, I see. Fire Panda spreading rumors about me. That's not true. I don't hate Punk. I don't know where you get this stuff. I really don't. Thank you, Fire Panda. They opened. Let's start from the very top here. We got a lot to get into here. Let's start from the very top. They opened the show with the first of two Elimination Chamber matches. This one for the women. Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Bayley, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and Naomi in that order, which means that Liv Morgan and Naomi started the match. This was for the right to challenge either Rhea Ripley or Io Sky for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania. Before they could even touch, this is how the show started. Okay, so you talk about, as far as the way they formatted this show, they did a very good job of spreading things out in a way where we had a big angle at the beginning and we had a big angle at the very end of the show. And then in the middle, you had the Unsanctioned match, which was insanity. So I thought as far as the formatting and the positioning of things on this show, I thought they did a really good job with that. But before they could even touch, we hear Jade Cargill's music. And Jade walks out. This is the first time we've seen Jade now in months. And she still has the silver hair, but she's dressed in all black. She looks unbelievable. Okay, this woman walks out here. She looks amazing. And she's walking down the aisle. Liv Morgan, they show her in the ring. She is scared shitless. Okay, she looks guilty. And she's very scared. And Jade is coming down. Now, the chamber door is still open. So she makes her way into the chamber via the door. And it looks like she's about to hit Liv. But instead of hitting, and Liv Morgan is covering up, right? Because she thinks that Liv's, she's about to get her ass kicked. But instead, Jade doesn't hit Liv Morgan. Jade hits Naomi. And everybody loses their minds as soon as she attacks Naomi. And Bianca Belair is trapped inside one of the pods. So she can't do anything, right? She's completely helpless. And she's crying. She's freaking out. She's banging on the glass, but she can't do anything. She's completely helpless in there. And so Jade begins to stomp on Naomi in the corner. She tosses her into the sides of some of the pods. It looked like the glass almost broke. Then she booted her hard into the side of another pod, almost through it. Crowd is chanting, "You deserve it," at Naomi. This poor woman is trying to crawl out of the cage. Jade then slams the sliding door on her head as she's trying to make her way out of the chamber. And gets a huge ovation for this, Jade does. So they bring out a stretcher for Naomi. They announce that she is no longer able to compete, and therefore Naomi is eliminated from the Elimination Chamber. And I was racking my brain trying to figure out, are they going to send somebody else out there? Is there anybody else that we're not thinking of right? Jade would have been the one as far as like if they were going to replace her with somebody. I don't know. I couldn't figure out who would make sense to replace her. They never did replace her. She was just eliminated. And so we were down to 5 instead of 6. And as they carted Naomi out, the fans began to sing the goodbye song to her. They were actually singing na 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 hey hey goodbye to Naomi. Fickle fans. But this was an incredible angle here. The way they did this was tremendous. This was also a great way to reintroduce Jade. Again, she looked like she was there to take no shit from anybody. She looked like a fucking monster the way she was just attacking this woman. I've been saying Naomi the entire time. Everybody has their opinion on what is it going to be Bayley? Is it going to be Bianca? Is it going to be Naomi? I would think Naomi was the favorite. So I pretty much stuck to her the entire time. People have written into the show with interesting ideas about, maybe we come to find out it wasn't just Naomi. Maybe it was Naomi and the Metaphor, right? So they're proposing ways to introduce Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson into it. So maybe she had some assistance and that's their way of kind of calling them up to the main roster. It's possible. It's still possible. Again, I think we still have questions that need to be answered here. Just because she went after her doesn't mean that that's it. Naomi's guilty and end of story, right? We still don't know a lot. We don't know, for example, when did Jade find out about this? Why did she attack Naomi now? Did she only just find out that Naomi was responsible? Why did she wait until now? Clearly, she, didn't think that Bianca Belair had anything to do with it, because if she did, then she would have gone after Bianca, right? Or she would have come back out later and cost Bianca the match, right? We didn't see Jade again after this. So there's still questions that need to be answered as far as the why and how and all of that. But this was a tremendous way to kick this off. So Bianca just happened to be the next person into the chamber, and she immediately went over. Now, the door had already been closed, but Naomi was still being loaded onto the stretcher. So she's looking through the chains and she's checking on her to make sure that she's okay. So she gets attacked from behind by Liv Morgan. Roxanne Perez was the next one inside the chamber. Bayley came in after that. She was number 5. And she went right after Roxanne. She hit Roxanne with a Bayley to belly suplex against the side of the chamber wall. Bayley and Bianca, they squared off inside the ring. Bayley hit a sunset flip that sent Bianca into the turnbuckles. So Bayley goes up top. She hits a diving elbow drop on Bianca. This was the crowd tonight. Hear that? This was the crowd in Toronto. After John Cena kicked Cody Rhodes in the balls. There was some cheers mixed in.
It's a direction you can fuck.
Some cheers mixed in, but mostly boos. And that's what Cody told The Rock. We're getting all the reenactments here on this stream. Thank you, brother. So like I said, Bayley heads up top, hits a diving elbow drop to Bianca for a 2 count. Roxanne takes control with a power bomb to Bayley on the outside. Then she gets leveled by Liv Morgan with a code breaker. So the 6th and final entrant into the women's chamber match, Alexa Bliss. And she smirks slowly as she emerges from her pod, and she goes after Liv Morgan and then Roxanne. A little while later, Roxanne catches Bayley in a crossface, and Bayley she kind of rolls under the ropes. Michael Cole says, look, it's a chamber match, so there's no rope breaks. Nothing the referee can do about it. But eventually Bayley was able to escape. Back inside, Perez went for a moonsault. Bayley got her knees up. Roxanne avoided the rose plant. Bayley dumped her over the top rope just as Liv Morgan, at the exact moment, she threw this woman over the top rope at the moment that Liv Morgan came flying in for Oblivion. And she hits Oblivion to Bayley. She covers her and she pins Bayley right around the 20-minute mark. So Bayley has been eliminated. After this, Liv and Bianca, they fight their way up on top of one of the pods, right? So they're jockeying for position. Bianca Belair takes her braid. She takes her ponytail. And we haven't seen her do this in a while, but I can remember the first time I ever saw her whip somebody with this thing in NXT and the sound that it made. And that was in Full Sail, which is a much smaller venue. So it's a lot quieter. You hear the echo. This was the Sky Dome, right? They had almost 40,000 people in this building, but she whipped Liv Morgan across the ribs with her braid. It sounded like a fucking gunshot went off. And I could just imagine, like, Liv is grabbing, she's selling it. She ain't selling, okay? I'm telling you, she was selling it. Yeah, she was selling it for the rest of the match. That was not selling. I don't think she had to work very hard to sell the pain that she was in from this braid whip. But man, she whipped the shit out of her. And she ended up falling down on the padding down below. Bianca flew off the top of the pod with a crossbody, wiped all three women out down below. Roxanne went for pop rocks on Bianca, who avoided it. And Liv Morgan hit a code breaker on Roxanne. Alexa Bliss dropped Roxanne with Twisted Bliss. She came flying off the top rope, hit Twisted Bliss, and she pinned her. So Roxanne Perez has been eliminated from the chamber. Liv Morgan then hit Three Amigos on Bianca, set up for a 619. Bliss cut her off. And Bianca rolled up Liv Morgan, who kicked out. That momentum, though, on the kick out, it sent Bianca forward right into the arms of Alexa Bliss, who grabbed her and hit Sister Abigail. Here comes Liv Morgan, though, into a jackknife pin on Alexa Bliss, and she gets the 1, 2, 3, and Alexa Bliss has been eliminated. And so now we're down to 2. The final 2 in the Women's Chamber match, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and I like that, and I'll tell you why. These were the 2 likeliest winners in this match. It was either Bianca Belair or it was Liv Morgan. Now, some people might say Alexa Bliss. I never really bought into that. So I like the fact that it came down to these 2 because conceivably it could have gone either way. Me personally, when I saw that it came down to these 2, I figured, okay, I feel pretty confident Bianca is winning this. Just because I couldn't wrap my head around the idea that Liv wins and we get Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley again at WrestleMania. But then I thought, well, if there's no outcome, no real winner in the match on Raw this week with Io Sky, we could very well get a triple threat. So it's not just Rhea and Liv, it's Rhea, Liv, and Io. And it's like, oh shit, all right, well that's possible, right? I was still feeling pretty good about Bianca, but once I realized the possibility of a triple threat scenario, all of a sudden I was like, I don't know, maybe Liv can pick it up. So they did a cool spot where Bianca, she swung Morgan back and forth and rammed her head into the side of the pod, rammed her head into the chains. Then she power bombed her back into the ring. Bianca went for a 450. Morgan got the knees up. Now, Bianca fought back. She went for a KOD. Morgan countered out into a code breaker. And then Liv went for Oblivion. Belair avoided it. Got her up for the KOD. Nailed it. Pinned Liv Morgan to win the Elimination Chamber 30 minutes into this thing. After the match was over, Bianca makes her way down the aisle to the entranceway. And she stops, turns around. She's posing. Behind her, Rhea Ripley walks out with her Women's World Championship over her shoulder. So we got a face-off between the 2 of them. Then you see Io Sky walks out behind them. And we have a 3-way face-off. We have Rhea, we have Io, and we have Bianca Belair. Is that a sign of what's to come at WrestleMania? Could we still end up in a situation somehow where we don't get a singles match, but we get a triple threat with Io Sky involved? It felt that way watching this here, but we'll have to wait and see. But all I know is when Bianca Belair picked up the win here, Bianca Belair has been on the back burner for over a year. She was pushed very hard from the moment she got called up to the main roster. She got a night 1 WrestleMania main event. Like, how early into her run was that? Not that long into her run. She got a night 1 WrestleMania main event with Sasha Banks. Then a match with Becky Lynch, right? World Championships. She was a featured main event player from basically day 1 on the main roster. And then they paired her off with Jade Cargill and they did the tag team thing for a while. And I think that was the best thing that could have happened to her, because had she not have done that and she would have just been pushed at a top level, consistently like she was from day 1, it would have been a Charlotte Flair situation where people would have gotten sick of it. They would have said, oh, great, we have Charlotte 2.0. It would have, she would have gotten that level of hate, I think, from a lot of people. Instead, she was on the back burner for a while. She took a back seat. Well, it's been long enough. And so it's time for her to get back in that top mix. This is a match that I've wanted to see for a very long time. They have been dropping hints about this match for a few years. I can remember the first backstage segment where they teased it was a few years ago. Now we're finally going to get it. I actually hope it's one-on-one. Like, I love Io Sky. If they work her into the match, great. I won't object to it, as a fan of everybody involved here. But the match, to me, the money match here, as far as the women's division, it's Rhea and Bianca, one-on-one. That is a big match for them to do in Vegas. So I think it was the right person who won this match. There was really nobody else in this match, to me, that would have been as interesting of an opponent for Rhea as Bianca. And I think they match up very well together. I thought last year's chamber match with the women was the best one with them up to that point. And, Tiffany Stratton was the standout. That's the one they did in Perth. Tiffany was very new to the main roster. She was super over in Australia. And I really liked that match. This was better than that. So if I thought that one was the best women's one up to that point, then I guess that makes this one the best women's chamber match that they've done so far. And I guess they go back to what, 2018 probably, right? Because that was the first women's Royal Rumble. This was probably the best one they've done so far. I really enjoyed this match where Tiffany Stratton was the MVP last year. Liv Morgan was the MVP of this match. Liv Morgan, I mean, she was getting into it with everybody. She was taking bumps, that fucking braid whip. I mean, she was in the middle of everything here. And when she was eliminated, like, you just look at her, you could tell, like, she took a beating here in this match. So she was easily the MVP of the entire thing. So as the newbie in the chamber, I thought Roxanne looked good. All right, I thought they really gave her a lot as well. Alexa Bliss, she gets pinned by Liv Morgan. I think that's a sign of where she is headed as far as her WrestleMania destination is concerned. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are the women's tag team champions right now. Every time we see Alexa Bliss on TV, what happens? We see Wyatt Six glitches, right? She's going to be tied into the Wyatt Six in some way. She's going to join them. She's going to be affiliated with them. I don't know. So I think that this is headed for a women's tag team title match at WrestleMania. I think we're looking at Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. So that seems pretty clear to me as far as what she's going to be doing on that show. And then the Jade stuff, like I said before, there's still a lot of unanswered questions. And it's good. It's good that they leave us with questions because you want people to tune into the television show this week to find out, just like The Rock and Cena and Cody stuff. Like, what the fuck just happened here, right? I have to tune into Raw. I have to tune into SmackDown to find out where this is going to go. You don't want to give too much away, right? You gave us the return and you gave us a hint of who may have been the one to attack this woman, but we didn't really get to hear from. Now, unless she spoke at the post-show press conference and I'm not aware of it, we didn't get to hear from her tonight. Save that for the show, right? Save it for Friday. Smart. So that angle was great, and this match was also great.
I am the learning tree.
That's not so great.
Thanks, guys.
But JR, you're great. Thank you, JR, for the $12 learning tree super chat. A word that I would not associate with the learning tree is great.
You suck.
Hey, Sean Nilsson, thank you, brother. People going crazy with the super chats. I love it. I love to see it. We'll get him on in because I'm going to be reading him in a little bit. Let's talk about this next match, though. Tiffany Stratton. We already know who she's wrestling at WrestleMania. She's going against the Queen, who is not on this show tonight, but Tiffany Stratton, Trish Stratus, in her hometown of Toronto, taking on Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Trish came out. She got that hometown pop, celebrating, if you could believe it, 25 years. This is her 25-year anniversary. Fuck. Doesn't feel like it. She said that this was also the first time that her kids were in the crowd to watch her actually wrestle. So she may have been the hometown girl. I actually thought that Tiffany got a bigger reaction than Trish did. Now, maybe if somebody was in the building, maybe that wasn't the case, but that's how it came across to me watching on Peacock. So Trish started out. Stratton, though, got the hot tag. She hit Candice with an Alabama slam. She dropped Nia with a spine buster. Stratton tried the prettiest moonsault ever, but Candice tripped her up, and Tiffany took a scary spill. So basically, she pushed her legs out from under Tiffany to interrupt the move. Tiffany fell straight down, but she got her leg caught in the top rope. So she could have tore her knee out that way, but she seemed to be okay. It was very scary, though. Nia followed with a leg drop for 2. Stratton managed to give Nia a back suplex. She tagged Trish back into the match. She went to the ropes with Nia. They ended up on the top rope, and I've never seen Trish Stratus do this before. How old is Trish Stratus now? 47, I think? She did a Super Stratisfaction. Top rope bulldog to Nia Jax. Takes her all the way down to the mat, had the match won, but Candice LeRae broke up the cover with a springboard moonsault. Stratus moved out of the way, though, and so Candice landed on her partner. Tiffany tagged in, and it was fun. It was funny because she tags into the match, right? Trish rolls out to the apron, and Tiffany is standing in the corner. She's waiting for whatever the next spot is going to be, and she looks down. And I guess Trish is like by her foot. She's kicking Trish out of the way, like, get the fuck out of here. She's kicking her partner away. So she kicks Trish out of the way. Candice got dumped out over the top rope. Tiffany delivered the prettiest moonsault ever to Nia Jax, and she pinned her. And that surprised me. Not that Tiffany and Trish won, because I had picked them to win when I did the predictions the other day. But I specifically said that I don't see Nia Jax taking the losing fall here, right? You have a perfectly good Candice LeRae in this match. Why would you beat Nia Jax when they've been teasing the idea that Nia is still coming after Tiffany's title, right? There's still plenty of time between now and WrestleMania. So I figured they were going to give us one more championship match between Tiffany and Nia on SmackDown. Because their last match, we had no like definitive winner. So why would you why would you have Tiffany pinning Nia Jax as opposed to Tiffany pinning Candice in this match if they are still setting up for a title match? That didn't make any sense to me. And I still think we are going to get one more title match on TV. But maybe not. I mean, I don't know. That finish surprised me. I thought the match itself was a decent match. It really was nothing special. It was nothing memorable. I mean, it was special if you were there and you wanted to see Trish in Toronto. Every match that Trish has could potentially be her last. So I don't think this is going to end up being her last match, but it could be. You know, she's not wrestling full time anymore. They gave you the crowd-pleasing finish. The right person went over in this match. Tiffany should have been the one picking up the win. I thought a lot of Trish's offense, it looked very tentative, you know, especially when she was in there with Nia. But again, you know, she's not full-time anymore. It's not like she's doing this on a regular basis. The Super Bulldog was cool. I thought that was a cool spot, though. They announced the attendance at the Rogers Center as 38,493. That's a lot of people, although not quite as many people as there were in that building back in 1999 when they had an episode of Raw at Skydome. They had almost 42,000 people in that building, and even that's not a sellout or anything, but they had almost 42,000 people for a Raw. See, that's peak Stone Cold is what that is. That was the peak of the Stone Cold era. They had more people in the building that night than they did tonight. Although I'm willing to bet ticket prices were not quite what they were today back then. I can only imagine, by the way, what some of these ticket prices must have been. Ticket prices at these shows are just ridiculous. Probably one of the reasons, frankly, why they didn't have 50,000 people. We know they could fit a lot more than that in this building. I was kind of surprised, to be honest with you. They didn't shoot for like 50-ish. How many? They had like almost 70, I think, at the Royal Rumble. It's crazy. It's crazy. But still, you know, 38,000. For a non-WrestleMania show, that's a very impressive number. It was 15 minutes from the end of the last match to the beginning of the next one. After all of the ads and all of the video packages, you could have fit another match in there, right? So 15 minutes go by, and we were finally at the unsanctioned match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So they did this a little bit differently. Because this match was unsanctioned, Trish is 49? Are you serious? I don't know. I thought she was 47 for some reason. Steve says nosebleed seats to this show were $200. Yeah, that would give me a nosebleed. If you told me that nosebleed seats were $200, does that include fees? I bet you it doesn't even include fees. So actually, it was probably closer to like $250. See, that's why they only have 38,000 instead of 45. There you go. There's your answer. Trish is almost 50. Well, I knew she was almost 50. I just
Why is Solomonster a Punk hater?
didn't think she was 49.
Why does he hate Punk so much? What did he ever do to him?
Rock Intensity coming in with a super chat. Thank you, Rock Intensity. We'll get to the Rock in a little bit. They started this match. They had a spotlight basically on the ring. They darkened most of the building. So it wasn't like Kane or The Fiend where you have that ugly red light or anything like that. But this was an unsanctioned match. You know, think about Lights Out, right? The way AEW does the Lights Out matches. I think they sometimes do that with the lighting. So they tried to really make it feel like this was really unsanctioned. The referee was out there, no WWE emblem. They weren't wearing the usual referee garb. It was just all black. Referee already had gloves on, black gloves, before the match even started. Of course, it doesn't explain why they both came out to their entrance music if this was truly unsanctioned, but we'll leave that alone. So the only way to win this match, pinfall or submission, that's it. That's the only reason the referee is in the ring. So they end up outside the ring almost immediately. We want tables chants from these bloodthirsty people in Toronto. Sami tossed some chairs into the ring, but he was the one feeling the steel once he got inside, right across the back, 3 times. Owens swung the chair at his head. Sami ducked out of the way, though, and the chair bounced off the top rope, bounced right back. It ricocheted back into Kevin Owens' head, the same spot he did for the finish in the match with Steve Austin at WrestleMania a few years ago. So that gave Sami an opening to make a comeback. He went outside. He retrieved a hockey stick from under the ring, and he used that as a weapon. Then he gave the people what they wanted, and he dragged the table out from under the ring, and that got a huge pop. One of the biggest stars on the show, The Rock, CM Punk, John Cena, Travis Scott, and the table. Probably in that order. Actually, you know what? I would put the table above Travis Scott, but it's pretty high up there. So he set the table up outside. Owens grabbed him, though, and sent him into the ring post. And I realized at this point it was the actual steel post. So many times now with these shows, they have those LED... It's like the ring post casing, right? It makes a great noise, but it's not really a steel post. But they didn't have that tonight. Probably because of the chamber, I'm guessing. They just probably logistically couldn't do it. So he threw him into the steel post. Owens grabbed the hockey stick, he pressed it up against Sami's mouth, and then he started biting him on the face. Then he went under the ring and he dragged his own table out. Owens takes the table, he stacks it on top of the other table that Sami had set up. So we're gonna revisit this. Okay, we're gonna come back to this in a little bit. They brawled into the crowd. Sami planted Owens through a table with sort of this pseudo Blue Thunder bomb. Then he picked him up. Same move, drove him down through another table that had cups and beverages on it. Then he fought Owens back down to ringside. He was whacking him in the head with a trash can lid. When they got back to the timekeeper's area, Owens clobbered him in the head twice with the ring bell. Then he hit Sami in the head with Wade Barrett's tiny little monitor. They really do. They have these really tiny-ass looking monitors at ringside. They don't look like they would do a whole lot of damage, but hit him in the head with it. So he puts Sami back in the ring, and he heads up to the top rope. Sami meets him on the ropes. Sami climbs to the very top, and he is about to try for a Rana. Owens slips out underneath him, turns around, and shoves Sami off the top. He gives him a good push. And Sami Zayn takes a dive all the way down through the 2 stacked tables. The way they positioned these tables, they were basically right behind the ring post. So you have to go over the ring post to crash through them. And that's exactly what Sami Zayn did. He took a perfect bump, went through both tables, they both broke. And I said, boy, you know, that spot, it seems awfully familiar to me. And then I realized that's the same spot that Kevin Owens took. He took that same exact bump. The tables were positioned in the exact same place, 2 tables stacked on top of each other. When Jon Moxley pushed him off the top rope, he went down through 2 tables, and that's how he lost the last man standing match that he had with Ambrose at the Royal Rumble. They had that great last man standing match back in 2016. Same exact bump. So back in the ring, Owens dropped Sami with a fisherman buster through a steel chair that was sitting right in the middle of the ring. He covered him, Sami kicked out. Sami came back with a pair of half Nelson suplexes, and then he went for the haluva kick. As Sami is coming in for the haluva kick, Kevin Owens grabs the referee, Rod Zapata, and he pulls him in the way. And the poor referee takes a foot to the face. He eats the haluva kick. Owens gives a stunner to Sami. He covers him. There's no referee. Here comes Charles Robinson. And he runs into the ring, starts the count. Sami kicks out at 2. Owens is not happy about this. And he fucking decapitates poor Charles Robinson, who did nothing wrong. He gets blasted by Kevin Owens. So here comes a third referee, Ryan Tran. He slides into the ring. He's going over to check on Charles Robinson. Owens pulls another table out from under the ring, and he slid it inside. Sami now is favoring the injured neck, right? He's selling the neck. They end up on the top rope. Sami is back in control now. He was trying something. I don't know what he was going for. Owens countered into a fisherman buster through the table that was set up in the ring. So Ryan Tran is trying to tell Kevin Owens, that's enough. Call this off, right? This has got to stop. Petey Williams is out there because he's one of the agents for them. Petey Williams is out there on the floor in a suit trying to tell Kevin Owens, put a stop to this. Should have given fucking Petey Williams a Canadian destroyer on the floor. That's what Owens should have done. So Owens backs Sami into the corner. And he yelled that this is all your fault. And Owens charged into the opposite corner, but Sami followed him in and nailed a haluva kick. Wasn't able to cover him right away. There was a delay of a few seconds. He did finally cover him. Owens manages to kick out. Sami goes outside, and he puts a few more chairs in the ring. And he's reaching under the ring, and he sees something that really he catches his eye, and he looks confused. And he reaches under the... I thought he was going to pull out a bag with Damian inside. He reaches under the ring, and he pulls out a chair wrapped in barbed wire. So now, of course, everybody is cheering. Oh, now we're going to get hardcore with this shit, right? So he's got this barbed wire wrapped chair. And he has this conflicted, kind of confused look on his face, like he doesn't know who put it there. Obviously, he didn't put it there. Brings it into the ring with him. Owens is trying to beg off. Sami plants the chair right in his back. And then he plants it a second time. Sami then opens the chair, sits it down on the mat, and he delivered a drop toe hold, which sent Owens face first down into the barbed wire. And now Owens is lying on the mat, and he is writhing around in pain. So Sami now, he sets 2 chairs up, side by side, right next to each other. He takes the barbed wire wrap chair, lays it across the 2 chairs right in the middle, and he takes Owens and he delivers a blue thunder bomb onto the barbed wire chair, which was a hell of a spot, but he nailed it. Sami covered him. It looked like it was academic. Owens got his shoulder up. So the match continues. Owens crawls to the corner, stands up. Sami comes charging in for the haluva kick. Owens scoops him up, though, and hits a pop-up powerbomb. Sami rolls out to the floor, so Owens wasn't able to follow up and cover him for the pin, so he follows Sami out to the floor. And, I have to say, at this point, like, I'm watching these guys, and for all the talk about barbed wire, oh my God, you can't believe they're introducing barbed wire into this match, right? He gives the guy a drop toe hold, and he goes face first down into the barbed wire. No blood. Not even a scratch on Kevin Owens' face. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. Not a scratch on him. Owens wraps a chair, a regular one, around Sami's neck on the outside, runs him into the ring post. Not once, but he did it again into another post. So then he gives him an apron powerbomb. It was like we were back at their first night in NXT, where the two of them were on the same show the night that Sami challenged Neville for the championship, and Owens debuted. So now we had more agents spill out to ringside. They're trying to intervene. Jason Jordan is out there and Shane Helms is out there. Owens shoves them away. He goes for another apron powerbomb. Unfortunately, he couldn't get him up all the way. Like, he went up at the wrong time, and so he couldn't really get him up. And Sami realizes what's going on here, so he starts to fight back. And so they're going to recover and try to do the spot over again. And they do. He kicks him in the gut. Owens gets him up this time and gives him a second apron powerbomb. Rolls Sami back into the ring. He covers him. And finally, the match is over. Kevin Owens picks up a much-needed win, coming off his loss to Cody Rhodes at the Royal Rumble. Now, after the match, they were escorting Owens out, trying to get him out of there. And he decided he wasn't done yet. So he turns around and he's coming back to the ring. He pulls up one of the mats on the floor outside to expose the concrete. And he drags Sami Zayn out of the ring. And he wants to cripple this man. He wants to cripple this man for good. So he sets him up for a pile driver. And the one thing that did surprise me, I was surprised that outside of this, I guess, we didn't really get any pile driver attempts or teases. Like a regular one or a package pile driver. I thought they were going to build some kind of big pile driver spot, and they never did. I don't even think they teased it during the match. But here it looks like he's trying to set him up for a pile driver when all of a sudden, Randy Orton's music hits. Only a few minutes late. I was waiting. I thought it was going to happen during the match. Didn't happen during the match. They waited until the match was over. So we hear voices. Well, I mean, don't we all? Well, we hear voices, his theme song. And Kevin Owens gets into the ring. And it took a while for Randy Orton to emerge. He took his sweet time, right? He's been gone for a few months. And so he took his time coming down to the ring. Orton pulls his vest off. And he chucks it into the ring, or into the crowd. He slides into the ring. We got a very brief slugfest. Didn't last very long before he dropped Owens with an RKO. Everybody cheered, right? Orton starts twitching out, as only Orton does, and he picks up a chair. Owens is still down on the mat. He walks over to Owens, and he's thinking about using the chair. He thinks better of it, throws the chair outside. Then he backs up to the corner. Everybody knows what this means. Even the announcers knew what this meant. And everybody's waiting for it, right? They're waiting for the punt kick. Backs up into the corner. He's getting ready. Owens is on all fours now. He's in perfect position. Here comes Randy Orton, and as Randy Orton is charging in for this kick, all of the agents, they dive into the ring to block his path. And this got more heat than almost anything else in the entire show. These agents became public enemy number one to these fans for stopping the punt kick. And so Owens rolls out to the floor to safety. Then Orton drops not one, not two, not three, 4 different security geeks with RKOs in the middle of the ring, and everybody lost their minds. I thought that this was a tremendous piece of business, and it was nearly as long as the Women's Chamber if you count the post-match stuff. This is right in the wheelhouse of a half an hour, maybe a little over half an hour. The only question that I had coming into this was, do we see Randy Orton during the match, or does he come out after the match? But it seemed pretty obvious to me that we haven't seen him yet. This is the last PLE before WrestleMania. It's time. Like, what are they waiting for? It's time to get Randy Orton back on TV. It's time to get Randy Orton chasing after Kevin Owens, looking for revenge. I thought that they would have him come out during the match because it's unsanctioned. Anything goes. And what better way to fuck with Kevin Owens than to cost him a win? Drop him with an RKO or a punt kick, Sami wins. I like the way they did it this way because Kevin Owens, he really did need this win. You know, it's been a while since he's won a big match. He lost at the Royal Rumble. It's very likely I think he'll lose at WrestleMania. I mean, we'll see as we get closer, but he needed this win. So it's better it worked out this way. Orton obviously now is back. We see what the WrestleMania, I mean, you could just see it. You could see what the WrestleMania match is going to end up being. As far as this, you know, the match itself is concerned, I say Owens was due for a win. Technically, he didn't win anything because it's unsanctioned. So if we want to be really technical about it, he didn't really win shit because these don't count towards, I mean, they don't do win-loss records in this company, but technically not a win. Was it the violent spectacle that I was expecting it to be? No, it wasn't as violent as I was expecting it to be. Was it the bloodiest match? Not only was it not the bloodiest match, there was no blood whatsoever. And I was very surprised by that. Now, when the show was over, I realized why that was. Clearly, they wanted to save the blood for the end of the show. And I get that. That's your big angle. It'll be more impactful if it's the only blood, other than just like incidental blood, maybe in the chamber matches. I get it. I understand it. But in the moment, I'm watching this going, man, Kevin Owens, he did a fucking blade job in the ladder match at the Royal Rumble, but not in this unsanctioned match. So that was very strange to me, especially when he did a fucking barbed wire spot where he went face first into it. But that's why they did what they did. So no, it was not the most violent match that I've seen these two. Honestly, I think these two have had even more violent matches in WWE. But it was violent enough where they went out there, they took some hellacious bumps, crowd was into it, they were telling a story. Obviously, there's this deeply personal issue that's developed between these two over the last few weeks, months. Kevin Owens is, creeping around outside Sami's window. I mean, it's gotten personal between these two. So this is the kind of blow off, because that's what it felt like, that you would expect this to be. I don't get the sense that this is going to continue going into WrestleMania, where this may end up being a triple threat match. The match is Kevin Owens against Randy Orton. Question is, and as far as that goes, by the way, if that ends with anything other than a punt kick, then I don't know what they're doing. They need to build to that spot. That needs to be the payoff at WrestleMania. When he hits that punt kick, people are going to lose their minds. What happens now with Sami Zayn? And it really does feel to me like maybe they're setting up for Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross. Now, I know I say that out loud, and it sounds beneath Sami, because you look at his last couple of WrestleManias. He beat Gunther. He was the first man to hand Gunther a loss on the main roster. And he won the Intercontinental title last year. Year before that, he was in the Night 1 main event, winning the tag team titles. I mean, you can even go back to 38. There were people who mocked him and the match that he had with Johnny Knoxville, but it was one of the big attractions on the show. And it actually turned out to be more entertaining than I thought it would be. So now if he wrestles Karrion Kross, the reason it feels like oh, okay, it's underwhelming is because they haven't done anything with Karrion Kross at that level, right? He's not been put in a position to have a singles match at a WrestleMania. I think the only match he's ever had at WrestleMania was a 6-man tag. So for Sami Zayn, it's a step down. If they do that match for someone like Karrion Kross, it's a huge opportunity to be the biggest match he's had, in his career in this company. Easily. I mean, I know he wrestled McIntyre before, but we're talking WrestleMania here. Because I don't really see what other role Sami's going to have on this show unless they just kind of work him into this whole Kevin Owens thing again. But I just didn't get the feeling that this was meant to be more than what we saw on this show tonight. We'll see. We'll see. And again, if that's the match they do for Karrion Kross, make or break. You go out there and shit the bed with Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. I don't know what else to say. I've been enjoying the work that Kross has been doing lately. I mean, I'd like to see the guy succeed and break through to that next level. Maybe this is what he needs. But they've certainly been teasing something on TV with him and Sami now for a while. So it's got to be leading somewhere. So then at this point, they threw up the graphic for the men's Elimination Chamber match. And I thought, well, are they really going to close with The Rock? And the more I thought about it, it's like, well, it's The Rock. So yes, of course, The Rock is going to want to main event the show. I mean, it's just common sense, right? It's like, yeah, of course. If this is going to be their top angle and it's The Rock is not going to want to do anything other than main event. So it kind of makes sense. So they did not close with the men's chamber match, which was up next. They closed with The Rock going after Cody's soul. Men's Elimination Chamber had Logan Paul, who walked out there with the American flag to loud boos here in Canada. Not hard to understand why. Damian Priest was out. CM Punk was out in his first Elimination Chamber match, we were told, in 13 years. John Cena in his final Elimination Chamber match. Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. And those were the first two men to start the match. Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. Now, Michael Cole, this before the match, Michael Cole mentioned on commentary that Chris Jericho held the record for most eliminations.
It's the amazing Gunther.
Or maybe it's this man.
Jerry Lawler loves Gunther, the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
Maybe it's this man. Maybe Gunther owns the record. What do you think? Maybe Gunther owns the record. I like that. Man, you guys are crazy. I'm loving it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Thank you, brother. So he was right about that, talking about the record that Jericho holds for eliminations. But he also made the comment, he said that Chris Jericho invented the Elimination Chamber, which is absolutely not true. It was actually Triple H. Triple H is the one who came up with the concept for the Elimination Chamber. He drew it, I don't know if he drew it on a napkin or what, but he drew it kind of like a rough sketch of what he was envisioning. And it's funny because as he tells the story, first time he saw the chamber in person is when he walked into Madison Square Garden the night of the very first one at Survivor Series in 2002. And he walks into the building that night and he looks at this thing and he is just appalled because he's like, what the fuck is this? It looked dangerous. Like it looked like it was going to be a terrible night for everybody involved. For him, it turned out to be a horrible night. It wasn't a case of him getting slammed into the steel or anything like that. But in his case, he got his throat crushed by RVD because RVD didn't have enough room to stand up fully on top of the pod when he jumped off for that frog splash. So, of course, he came down with his knee right across Triple H's throat, crushed the man's throat. He still had to wrestle another 15 minutes. So it turned out to be a bad night for him, but this was Triple H's idea. Chris Jericho did not invent the Elimination Chamber. Eric Bischoff, he's credited with it in kayfabe, but no, Eric Bischoff had nothing to do with the concept or creation of the Elimination Chamber. Triple H wanted to do War Games, okay? That's always been the story. Triple H went to Vince McMahon multiple times over the years and tried to convince him because he was an old school NWA guy, right? He grew up on Flair. And he wanted to do War Games, right? Which is what I wanted them to do for many years. And Vince McMahon wouldn't do it, right? Because it wasn't his idea. So he didn't want to do War Games. And so Triple H came up with this. This was the alternative to War Games. We can't do War Games. We could do something that we could call our own. And here's the concept that I have in my head. But I just love that story. Like I could just picture him walking into Madison Square Garden that night and looking at this thing going, what the fuck have I done? This is horrible. Like the steel, like everyone bitches now about like the padding on the outside and everything. And yeah, it doesn't look as dangerous. It does not look as menacing. The first one I think is still the best one. But if I had to wrestle in there, yeah, fuck, I would want padding on the outside. I wouldn't want to land on those fucking grates. That would not be fun. I don't blame them for changing it. Plus, you're this close to WrestleMania. Why would you increase the injury risk in a match like this? It doesn't make any sense. You would want to make the match safer to cut down on the possibility of injuries. You don't want to increase the possibility of injuries going into your biggest show of the year. Anyway, first few minutes of this was basically McIntyre just punishing Rollins. At one point, he was ramming Rollins into Punk's pod face first over and over and over again, making Punk watch. And Punk was cheering him on. Punk's like, more, more, more. And Punk was going crazy inside the pod to the point where, I don't know if you noticed this, but if you look in the background, they have these lights, like these long fluorescent tube lights that are in each pod to light them up. And he pulled one of them down by accident. So I'm looking and I see Punk standing there with a giant light in his hand. He's like, oh shit. He's trying to fix it. He did get it back, in place. But yeah, I guess the light became dislodged, I guess. So Damian Priest was the next man in, to no reaction. I guess Logan Paul was right with what he said on Friday night when he said that this man was irrelevant. Fourth man to enter was Logan Paul, who was getting fuck you Logan chants before he even entered the match. They weren't even cheering or chanting anything for McIntyre or Rollins when they were wrestling. They were busy booing Logan Paul. The guy knows how to get heat. Priest tortured him for a little bit. There was a neat spot with Priest. He did, he does the Undertaker's old school spot now. Not exactly the way that Undertaker used to do it. In this case, when Priest does it, he does a crossbody off the top rope. But here he walked the top rope and then he jumped off into a Hurricane Rana to McIntyre outside on the padding. So John Cena was in as the fifth man and he ran wild. Pair of shoulder tackles to Rollins, attitude adjustment to Damian Priest, attitude adjustment to Seth Rollins, 5-knuckle shuffle, and an AA to Logan Paul. Cena, though, turns around and he eats a Claymore kick. So McIntyre now is admiring his work, and he's looking down at Cena and is talking shit to Cena. Damian Priest comes up from behind him, and he crucifixes him over, and he pins him. And Drew McIntyre is the first man eliminated from the Elimination Chamber, which was surprising to me. But I mean, I guess when you really look at who was involved here, right? Cena, Punk, Rollins, those guys weren't going out first. So that leaves McIntyre, Priest, and Logan Paul. Priest is a babyface, right? They were going to give him something. They weren't going to bounce him out first. So realistically, who was going to be the first man out? It was going to be Logan Paul or Drew McIntyre. And it turned out to be Drew McIntyre. So he couldn't believe it. He's in a state of shock. Basically, the same reaction he had when he got dumped out of the Royal Rumble by Damian Priest. He couldn't believe it. Looks up at the WrestleMania sign. Now he's getting angry. So now this shock turns to rage, and he wipes out Damian Priest with a Claymore kick. So that was it for Drew McIntyre. Logan Paul slowly makes his way to the top rope. From the top rope, he climbs on top of CM Punk's pod, and he comes diving off with a frog splash. He crushes Damian Priest with it, and he pins Damian Priest to eliminate him from the match. So Priest eliminates McIntyre, and then McIntyre gets his revenge by the Claymore kick, which then leads to the elimination of Damian Priest. So you could see where that's headed. CM Punk was into the match last, and he went right after Logan Paul, suplexed him onto the padding outside, hit a running knee right up under the chin. He rammed the back of Logan's head repeatedly into the pod glass and then into the chains. And then we got our first one-on-one confrontation here. It was brief. They didn't touch right away, but we got our confrontation between John Cena and CM Punk. And Seth Rollins ends up wiping out CM Punk before anything could happen between Punk and Cena. Cena comes over and Rollins shoves him. And Rollins tells him, look, he's mine. His ass is mine. Okay, Mr. Hollywood over here, you stay out of it. And Rollins goes back over to Punk and he starts beating him up again. Cena goes back over to stop Rollins. Rollins then goes to give him a pedigree. Cena gets him up for an AA. Rollins wiggles out. And we got the yay boo spot. They were yaying Cena. They were booing Rollins. Logan then reappeared. He clotheslined both men down. Logan goes for a buckshot lariat to CM Punk, which was fucking hilarious for all the reasons that you would expect. That of all people that he would use this move on in this match, the fucking buckshot lariat he gives to CM Punk. But Punk avoided it. And he scoops him up for a GTS. He blasts him in the face. He covers Logan Paul. And he pins Logan Paul. So Logan Paul is eliminated. And now we are down to 3. John Cena, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. And I just wrote one thing here in my notes. What year is it? I just wrote, what year is it? We're watching the Elimination Chamber, John Cena, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. So what are we looking at here? 2013, 2014? Because that's what it felt like. So now we had Cena against Punk. This was after they bounced Rollins around for a little bit. Cena held Rollins up. Actually, this was one of my favorite spots of the entire match. Cena holds up Seth Rollins in a position for CM Punk to come off the ropes with the old heart attack move. In Canada, the old Heart Foundation heart attack. So that takes Rollins out of the equation here for a little bit. Now we got Cena against Punk. And it's been a while since we've had this. Cena puts his hand out for a handshake. Punk puts his arms out for a hug. He wants to hug it out. And they embrace. And everybody cheers. But then as soon as all the mushy shit is over with, we got the slugfest. So the fists were flying. Shoulder tackles by Cena. He plants Punk right in the middle of the ring. He sets up for a 5-knuckle shuffle. Punk tries to kick him in the head. Cena catches his leg, tries to turn it into an STF. He doesn't get it. We got a GTS coming, but Cena counters out of it into the STF. And I'm watching this and I'm like, dude, this feels like Money in the Bank all over again. It's like I was briefly transported back to Chicago from Money in the Bank in 2011. I can remember that spot in the middle of that match. Punk comes off the top rope with a crossbody. Cena rolls through. He sets him up for an attitude adjustment. And one thing leads to another. He gets Punk down on the mat for an STF. And the people in the building that night were losing their minds. Literally, I wasn't in the building, but you could tell like the building was shaking. And it was just one of those sort of magical moments where two guys in the ring just have a certain level of chemistry together. And of course, the environment, it was Punk's last night. It's his hometown. It could be his last shot at the championship. It all just kind of, the stars aligned that night. And I was briefly transported back to that here as I'm watching these two. Obviously, they're a lot older now. And, I mean, they're not the same as they were then. But this was fun because the magic is still there. For the interaction that we got with these two in the final few minutes of this match, like the magic is still there. These two guys had a certain magic back in the day that not everybody has. It's still there. It's still there. And it was on display here in this match. So he's got him in the STF. Punk reverses out of it into the Anaconda Vice, just like they did in that match. Cena turns him over into a pin. Punk kicks out. And Punk plants him with a swinging neck breaker. So Punk heads up to the top rope. But then instead of going after John Cena, he looks over and Seth Rollins is outside, back up to his feet. So he comes off with a double axe handle, takes out Seth Rollins. Punk goes back up to the top rope, and he leaps towards John Cena. Cena rolls through, powers him up onto his shoulders, attitude adjustment. And he covers CM Punk, and Punk kicks out at 2. Great sequence. Rollins now gets Cena up for a buckle bomb outside in the area where the padding is. Gives him a buckle bomb, not into the buckles, but he gives him a buckle bomb or a power bomb, basically, into the chain wall. Then he sends Cena careening through the glass into one of the pods. Glass breaks. Cena now gets to take a little bit of a break. He's laid out inside the pod. And Rollins very slowly turns his attention towards CM Punk in the ring. So he goes for a pedigree. That gets foiled. There's a go-to-sleep attempt. That gets foiled. Rollins, though, plants him with a pedigree in the end. And he covers him. Punk kicks out again. So Punk ends up on top. He connects on the Randy Savage elbow. And then he gives the sign for the GTS. Says, it's time to go to sleep. So he gets him up. Rollins slips out. He delivers a buckle bomb. A real one this time. Punk comes out of the corner. Curb stomp. So we got the buckle bomb, we got the curb stomp, Rollins covers Punk, and again, Punk kicks out. This time, Seth Rollins is just infuriated. Cena gets back in the ring. He tries for an AA. Rollins slips out. Punk hits him with a GTS, and then Cena picks him up, hits an attitude adjustment. Punk, though, covers Seth Rollins and pins him for the elimination, which is the worst possible thing. If you are Seth Rollins, that could possibly happen. It's bad enough to get eliminated, right? You're not going to the main event of WrestleMania, but to be eliminated by CM Punk is the worst possible outcome for this man. But he's gone. And just like that, we're down to 2. We got John Cena. We got CM Punk. Cena wants another handshake. Punk grabs his hand, but he jerks him up for the go to sleep. And he hits it. Cena kicks out. After Cena recovers, he gets Punk up for an AA, and he nails it. He covers. Punk kicks out. Punk crawls over to the ropes. Right, he's going to try to get back to his feet. Cena follows him over, and Punk kicks him away. After he kicks Cena away, though, here comes Seth Rollins. Rollins is still inside the chamber. And Rollins lines him up, and he delivers a stomp. He stomps this man's face right down into the padding. Now, of course, if this was 15 years ago, or maybe not 15, like 12 years ago, A stomp on the metal grate would have resonated a lot more. But still, right, you stomp someone's face down into the padding, it's going to fucking hurt. So he gives him a stomp. And Punk's out now, right? Punk's on Dream Street. And John Cena sees this. There's no way he didn't see this, right? He was watching this. He knows what happened. His eyes light up like a Christmas tree. He sees an opening. And he rushes over. He drags Punk to the center of the ring. And he locks on the STF. Punk is struggling. Rollins is watching now from the outside of the chamber. He's outside the chamber now. He's peering through the chains. He's chanting, die, die, just die. He's saying it over and over and over again. Punk's awake. He's alert, but barely. And he's struggling, and he's obviously losing oxygen. He's got nowhere to go. And eventually Punk goes out. That's kind of the cruel irony of it. Punk went to sleep. And the referee calls for the bell. A very opportunistic way for John Cena to tie Triple H all time for the greatest number of Elimination Chamber wins. John Cena in 2025 is your men's Elimination Chamber winner, which means he is going to the main event of WrestleMania to challenge Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. I thought that
By the power of Valhalla, it's vintage coal tar.
got to acknowledge Coal Tar with his fucking antlers on his head there. Thank you, Eminem. Look how ridiculous he looks. We don't get to see Coal Tar very often, but there he is. It's a special night when you see him pop up on the stream. I thought this match was excellent. I love the way they built to Cena and Punk as the final two. It's the same thing that I acknowledged earlier about the Women's Chamber. I love that it came down to Bianca and Liv because there was still some unpredictability there. Same thing here. Punk, Cena. Really the only two names in my view that could have won this. And they were the final two. It's like if they were the final two in the Royal Rumble match, right? I mean, you want it to come down to the two people that are likeliest to win because then it's not so obvious. You can't say that, oh, it was so predictable that no, it could have gone either way here. I would not have been shocked at all if CM Punk would have won this Elimination Chamber. But it just felt like they want Cena in that WrestleMania main event. And if he's going to the main event of WrestleMania, this is how it's done. Like, this is his to lose. He's got to win. He lost last month. He's got to win now. But there was still that doubt. Like, oh, maybe it'll swing, Punk's way. Once Rollins stomped him, though, I mean, it was pretty clear where this was going to go. It was a little slow in the early going. I actually feel like McIntyre in particular may have been bounced a little too early. I think when he was eliminated, he was the first one. I don't even think it was 15 minutes into the match. So I would have liked to have seen him stick around a little bit longer. But as far as those two go, it's pretty clear now what the WrestleMania direction is going to be for Drew McIntyre. They're sticking to their plan. They're going to go with Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. And clearly that's going to be the WrestleMania match. Punk, the talk was that there would be a triple threat match. And if you watch what happened at the Royal Rumble, when they all got eliminated, Rollins, Reigns, Punk, they were all laying there on the outside, right? And then Rollins stomped Roman twice on the floor. Clearly, there's going to be issues with him and Punk coming out of this show. Roman Reigns, we haven't even seen him since the Royal Rumble. The first man he's going after when he comes back is Seth Rollins. That's your match. They're going to do the triple threat match. Seems pretty clear to me now. That's going to be the direction for WrestleMania. So all these plans that we heard about weeks and weeks ago, and we said, like, it's just rumors right now. We don't know. Meltzer's saying this and Fightful saying that. WrestleVotes is saying that, right? There was so much conflicting information. But remember, we heard maybe even a couple of months ago at this point, Cena and Cody was the direction for the title match. Punk, Roman, and Seth was being discussed for a three-way. McIntyre and Priest, right? We could tell that just by watching the Royal Rumble. And it looks like things are aligning exactly as they were looking. And then as far as John Cena is concerned, well, John Cena was still in the ring. He was getting a pyro celebration when the WWE Champions music hit. They went right into the next segment. There was no ad break. There was no big preview video. they were going right into the segment that everybody was waiting to see. Will Cody Rhodes sell his soul to The Rock? So John Cena is still in the ring, right? Here comes Cody Rhodes. Cena holds the ropes open for him. The music stops. The two of them now are face to face in the middle of the ring. And Cena points up at the WrestleMania sign and he tells him, it's you and me. It's you and me. There's the sign right there, by the way. It's you and me at WrestleMania for the championship. Cody puts his hand out. Cena says, of course. And he shakes his hand. But The Rock's music hits. Briefly. They play the beginning of The Rock's music, and then it transitioned into Fiend by Travis Scott. So he walks out. He's got the replica belt that Triple H gave him several months ago. Is it like a replica WWE title or a replica hardcore title? I couldn't tell. But he's got that title draped over his shoulder. So now we hear The Rock's music. And here comes the final boss. He walks out there. He's got his vest on. Travis Scott is following behind him. It looked like father and son on their way down to the ring. Travis Scott doesn't quite have the same build that The Rock has, but it really did. It looks like a father bringing his son down to the ring with him. So I'm watching this, right? Because something doesn't feel right to me. Something's off. And I got my eyes on John Cena here. And John Cena and Cody are in the ring, but Cena is behind Cody. So I'm like, okay, that's a bad sign right there. Rock and Travis Scott, they both climb into the ring. And The Rock walks over to Cody. And he caresses this man's head. And he tells Cody, the moment has arrived. I'm going to open my arms. Cody will come up to me and embrace me as my brother, and you will embrace me as my champion. And he wants it all. Tells Cody, I want it all. And the fans at this point started doing the what chant. Thankfully, it died out pretty quickly. But they started that what bullshit. But he goes, I want it all. I want your mind. I want your body. And I want your soul. God have mercy. I need your soul. Says if the answer is yes, then the American Nightmare will live forever. If your answer is no, then tonight the dream dies again. That was a pretty cold line right there, you know, because he talked on SmackDown on Friday night, like on the weight belt. He had the date on there that Dusty passed away, right? The American Dream died back in 2015. And it broke my heart when your daddy died. He's like, don't break my heart again. So Cody now, he's mastered the art of looking conflicted. I will say that. He's got that conflicted look on his face. He doesn't know what he's going to do. And he tells Rock, he goes, Rock, I want it all. My soul no longer belongs to me. And The Rock smiles. Cody says, you know why? Because I gave my soul to this ring, and I gave my soul to these people a long time ago. And everybody cheers. He goes, hey, Rock, go fuck yourself. Everybody loses their minds. And Cena's in the background hamming it up. He's cheering. Yeah, he's pumping his fist. And again, I don't trust this guy, right? Now Cena has a tendency to do this anyway, where he gets very over the top, sometimes too much so in his reactions. But this was like, all right, he's hamming it up a little too much here. And The Rock begins to back off, and it kind of looks like The Rock is smirking a little bit. John Cena shakes hands with Cody, hugs Cody, and all of a sudden, the big jovial look on his face turns blank. Like a switch got flipped. And they zoom in on his face, and he's like mean mugging the camera. He's looking at The Rock. And at this point, everybody realizes what is going on here, right? Everybody realizes what's about to happen. And Cena rears back, and he kicks Cody Rhodes in the dick. And Cody drops, and everybody is stunned. People are excited also. There's a mixture of different emotions, you could tell, from people in the audience. He gives him... Now, I admit that I thought it was brass knucks. I don't think it was brass knucks. I think what it was the gold Rolex that Cody had gifted The Rock. The Rock had given back to Cody. So I think he wrapped the Rolex around his fist and he punched Cody in the head with it. He picks up the WWE Championship, hits Cody in the head with the belt. Cody comes up now. Now he's bleeding. Gives him another belt shot. Cena now rips Cody's dress shirt off of him, and he starts choking him with his necktie. Boy, we haven't seen that on this show since what, 2010? Bryan Danielson lost his job for doing this. Boy, it's amazing how times change. Because he's still got the tie around his neck, so he's choking Cody with the tie. Cena now is holding Cody down. They call Travis Scott over. Travis Scott's still in the ring. Travis Scott is holding Cody down. Rock is wearing the white weight belt that he showed on SmackDown Friday night. That said, I think it said Cody Soul on it, right? He takes the white weight belt off and he begins to whip Cody with it across the back. Rock and Cena now, they're standing basically side by side. We hear chants of "You sold out" from the crowd. Rock rubbed Cody's blood on the weight belt. He whipped him again with it. Rock drops the championship belt on Cody's body. Actually, I think Cena did that. Cena and Scott, they leave the ring. Rock follows them. So now in the aisleway, they stop and they turn to look back at the ring. It's Rock, John Cena, and Travis. It look like a new trio. They can go after the trios titles. What happened on Collision tonight, by the way? Poor Collision. Ain't nobody going to be talking about Collision. We got our new trio here. We have The Rock, John Cena, and Travis Scott. So they're standing in the aisleway, and they're looking back at the ring, and Rock is smiling into the camera. And they put the credits on the screen. You know, they do that now, Paul Levesque and Lee Fitting. So the credits appear on screen, and they go fade to black. But on Peacock, it went dark for like 2 seconds, and then they came back live. So we didn't hear the announcers anymore at this point. They got off headset. Michael Cole got in the ring to go help Cody. But they kept the cameras rolling, so they were still showing this. And you could see Cody is bleeding from the head, slowly gets back to his feet. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett, they get into the ring to check on him. Pat McAfee is holding the ropes open for Cody as he leaves. And they escort him to the back, and that is how the show went off the air. And so what we are left with here is one of the this will go down as one of the more shocking moments creatively in the history of this company. I don't want to rank this moment. It's still fresh in everybody's mind. We don't know where it's going to go. But just the idea that John Cena would turn heel, it's just one of those things where I truly didn't think that this day would come, because there were so many opportunities in the past for this to happen when Cena was still full time, and it would have meant more. And he could have put people over, and I think he would have thrived in that role if we got to see even a little bit of that old sort of Thugonomics. Now, I'm not saying playing the Thugonomics gimmick, but we saw what heel John Cena could do, especially on the mic. And there were opportunities over the years to do that. And again, Vince just was too afraid to do it, and he just didn't want to do it. Cena was all ready to go, and McMahon just didn't want to do it. So now he's in his retirement year, and how much of him we're going to get on TV, what this heel run is going to look like. Again, I remember when Shawn Michaels turned heel in 2005 on Hulk Hogan, and how excited I was. Oh, great, we're going to get heel Shawn Michaels back. And yeah, he was a heel for 4 weeks. It was nice. I don't remember him doing anything diabolical or anything, but then after 4 weeks, it was over. So I certainly hope that that's not what this is going to be. They could certainly play this out for many months, but there is a redemption arc at the end of that rainbow waiting for John Cena before this year is over. He's not going to be a heel for the rest of the year. How long we're going to get heel Cena for, I don't know. But it's a hell of a lot more interesting than babyface John Cena going against babyface Cody Rhodes. All of a sudden, they took a match that to me had no real appeal outside of, okay, we're going to put 2 big names in the ring and Cena's going to try to win number 17. And now they have created a story around it that can be very, very compelling. That's really all I want. Find a way to make this story as interesting as possible. Turning Cody heel is not the answer. Turn John Cena heel. That I could get behind. I just didn't realistically think we were ever going to get it. They waited until the very last minute to give it to us. But this has a lot of potential. I'm looking at them standing in the ring, and the thing that struck me was 2 Hollywood guys. You know, imagine them coming out on TV to Rock's music, and maybe Cena's going to be dressed differently now, right? He should ditch the jorts now. I don't want to see him on TV wearing the fucking hat and the jorts. He's got to get rid of that like this week. I don't know if he's going to be in a suit. I don't know if he's going to wear some kind of like custom swag, but I want to see Cena when we see him back on TV. He's got to just look different, act different. Like everything about him needs to be different. Maybe he'll shave his head in a way to get that fade back that he used to have. You know, he may as well at this point. But that's what I'm going to be looking for. That's where this can get really fun. Seeing Cena and Rock in the ring together cutting promos, like these two Hollywood big shots who think their shit don't stink, right? And they've become big Hollywood celebrities. They've got all these hundreds of millions of fucking followers on social media. But John Cena is just obsessed with number 17. He needs to win number 17 because that, in his mind, in his view, is what is best for business. And The Rock now has found his champion. He has found his champion, the man that he once feuded with, the man he had 2 WrestleMania matches with, is now going to be his champion, provided he actually beats Cody at WrestleMania. He's not the champion yet, but he's going to be Rock's guy now, going into WrestleMania. And again, I get excited at the idea that they could find a way to work Steve Austin into this at WrestleMania for a cameo, because I'm still bitter that we didn't get him last year. But it would just make sense. We don't need him to do much. He doesn't have to wrestle. All he has to do is show up. We just have to hear that glass shatter, man, and come out and set the Rock straight, right? If Cody is going to beat Cena. We don't know. Is John Cena going to win 17 at WrestleMania as a heel? That's the other question that I haven't brought up. If John Cena is going to win number 17 this year, should he win it as a heel and set the record as a heel, or should he do it as a babyface? I feel like it would be better for him to do it as a babyface, right? That's a babyface record. Like, you don't want to see the heel beat your big babyface champion to make history and people cheering him because you just made history, right? That would be kind of strange. I kind of feel like it would make more sense to hold off on that and have him do it later in the year as a babyface. But then where does this story go with The Rock, right? If he fails The Rock, is that it for the heel run? Are we literally talking about a heel John Cena run of 2 months? That doesn't feel like enough time. So there's still a lot of questions about where this is going to go. I thought that the angle they did tonight was fucking amazing. It was great television. It's going to get everybody talking. I could tell just by the number of people that we have talking about it right now in the live chat. Everyone's going to be coming up with their own theories about where this is going to go and what are we going to see at WrestleMania? Is he going to win the title now or later? Nobody knows, right? The only people that know are the people who are involved. And I'm not even sure if they know. Maybe they haven't made the final decision about what's going to happen at WrestleMania. But this is exactly the sort of thing that this WrestleMania build needed, right? Last week, people were still complaining about the fact this doesn't feel like WrestleMania. This build to WrestleMania is boring. When are we going to finally see it? And what did I say? Why did it feel so mundane? Because a lot of the major players are still not around. Roman Reigns, we haven't seen him since the Rumble. John Cena, we haven't seen him since the Rumble. Once we start getting these guys back on TV, that's when things start to pick up and get interesting again. John Cena's back. Roman Reigns, he may be back on TV this week. That's when things begin to pick up. But this is exactly what the sort of thing we needed to shake up this road to WrestleMania the way it felt last year. Last year, it was Cody's story. The Rock went heel. This year, it's John Cena going heel. They're going to have to turn somebody heel every year at this rate. Who's going to go heel next year? We should start taking bets now on who's going to be on TV with The Rock going heel in 2026, going into New Orleans. I don't know, but as far as an ending to a show, you can't come up with one bigger than that. And when I look at this show, the 2 chamber matches, the unsanctioned match, the tag match was nothing special. But that and the closing segment, this was an excellent show. This will go down as one of the best overall Elimination Chamber shows that they've ever done. I don't want to say the best. We still only had 4 matches on this show. But it's certainly up there. If it's not the best, it's certainly up there. Best WWE show that we've had in quite some time. And I enjoyed the Royal Rumble. But this show tonight is going to have a lot of people talking.
It's a direction you can fuck.
Because of this guy right here. Look at this. That's what Cody told him tonight. That's what Cody told him. Let's take a look at the Twitter poll. Holy shit. Almost 4,000 votes so far. 95% thumbs up for tonight's show. 2.9% thumbs in the middle. 2% thumbs down. Need I say more? I don't think I have to say much more than that. At Solomonster on X is where Brandy doesn't like it. After what happened to Cody tonight. Look at the look on her face there. Brandy is not happy, guys. She's not happy with what she saw. Oh, Brandy. Brandy's going to have to come back and lay the smackdown on John Cena. I think we're going to have the floodgates now. Yeah, you're right. The floodgates are going to open now with all the messages coming in because I had them paused. They're all going to come streaming in now.
It's the amazing Gunther.
What a night.
Jerry Lawler loves Gunther the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
What a fucking night. Now we got ourselves a road to WrestleMania. That's what we got. It's about damn time. All right, let's go back. We're going back. We're going way back here. Ditch the jorts for mom jeans. As long as he ditches the jorts and just changes it up, that's all I ask. Now that he's gone heel, we got to have a different John Cena. New music too. You know, he had new music made years ago. I wonder if he would use that same music now. He never got to use it because Vince ditched the heel turn. Wouldn't that be something if he's finally able to go back and use that music? All right, let me go back to your early messages here.
Gunther.
Oh my goodness.
Jerry Lawler loves Gunther the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
Hey, JM with the $50 bomb. He walked out of the press conference and said nothing. Good. He shouldn't say anything. Talk about Cena? Why would he say anything? Leave it for TV. You got to leave that shit for the shows this week. I wouldn't give anything away. Hey, JDFVA says, the Canucks boo the anthem but sing along to the Canadian anthem. As they should. If I was Canadian, I would sing the Canadian anthem too. Saint-like Media. Is there a wrestler that you associate with the Elimination Chamber like The Undertaker is with Hell in a Cell or the Dudleys are with tables matches? Same question for Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank, not really. I'm inclined to say Seth Rollins, just because he had the most memorable Money in the Bank cash-in. For the Elimination Chamber, I think it would be John Cena. John Cena or Triple H. They're tied with 4 wins. It's got to be one of those two. JDFVA, apparently when you look up Elimination Chamber on Wiki, the German title is No Escape Toronto. Very fitting, I guess. Yeah, well, there's a reason why the Germans don't want to call this the Elimination Chamber. It's not hard to figure out why. But it's been No Escape there in Germany for many, many years. That's not a new thing. Base Beerus dropping $2. Chris O'Neill, Bianca framed Naomi is what I'm thinking. Yeah, but you know, Bianca going heel? Are they really going to turn John Cena heel and Bianca Belair heel? I can't see that. I can't believe they turned Cena heel. That's right, and we still have to figure out what Punk's favor is going to be. Maybe Punk is still going to try to get into that WrestleMania main event. He may cash in and try to get added to Cena and Cody. Honey deep fried chicken with flavor. Why did the WWE security guards sign their own death warrants trying to stop Randy Orton? Give me your funniest answer. Well, I'm guessing because The Rock probably threatened to steal their soul. He is the soul taker now. Base Beers, Drew should have been in there for the last few minutes. No, not the last. I would have liked to have seen him in there longer. I think he went out too early. But no, in the last few minutes, you needed Cena and Punk. The last few minutes were perfect. With him and Rollins and Punk, the way they did the last few minutes was exactly what they needed to do. The Real CS, Punk out here proving that the triceps injury last year was a fluke because he's managed to stay healthy ever since coming back. Well, now you've jinxed it. Congrats. Crypto and Poker, who is the Timu Samantha? Cena versus Cody is a bore. That would be Alicia Taylor from NXT. She's fine, but she's no Samantha Irvin. Base Beer says, Cody, stop letting Rock touch your face. Boots. Cena and Rock are doing what's best for business. Why is Travis Scott here? Dennis Rodman, NWO vibes. I think it worked. You know, he's a big name. And it just reinforces the idea that Rock is surrounding himself by... You know, he's surrounding himself with a lot of different celebrity friends of his. And look, the reason he was out there is because they want the rub of being able to say that they had Travis Scott on their show, and he was front and center for their major angle.
I have the best moveset.
And he has the best moveset. That's why he was out there. Hey, JDFVA, thank you for the $2. Frode, 79. Cena's soul might be corrupted, but at least Bart's and Millhouse's are intact. That's true. Jeremy Dyer, thank you for the $9.99, no message. JS Warrior 19, love the John Cena heel turn, but commentary needed to be quiet. Way too much talking. Well, I mean, it's a big moment, so I mean, you need to have somebody reacting to the initial heel turn. It's like when Hogan went heel in WCW, right? It would have been weird if the announcers just laid out and didn't say anything. They had to react to it. They were so shocked by it. Now, you don't want to talk all over it. But I disagree. I mean, I think Michael Cole's reaction was pretty much what it needed to be. Again, the reason, just so you know, the reason that these on the left are not moving, I'm still going through the early ones, so we're gonna catch up with the ones on the left here in a second, so don't worry about that. We're seeing a lot of King Kong Bundy tonight, I say. Breaking in that new one. Robbie H5. What does Cena have to gain? Just wanting to win 17 that bad? Is this just to make the passing of the torch more compelling?
And the learning tree.
That's exactly what it is.
Thanks, guys.
He is going to win number 17 by any means necessary. It has gone to the man's head. Heart of Debonair. I knew John was turning tonight when Rock came out in his entrance gear. This had to be to live up to last year. Cody would have been booed at WrestleMania against babyface Cena. This had to happen. This had to happen just to keep it fucking interesting, more than anything else. But I agree, that's another aspect to this also. Like, you would have had a lot of people wanting Cena, like the sentimental favorite would have been John Cena. So why run the risk of Cody Rhodes being booed, right? Your top babyface being booed going into WrestleMania. So it couldn't just be babyface Cena and babyface Cody. It just wasn't going to work as well. Aaron Banks, I'm happy to see Cena as a heel. Not to pick too much, but we needed a gusher and a stretcher job. Cody walked away after 3 minutes. You know what, though? We just got a stretcher job with Cody at Saturday Night's Main Event a few months ago. So I feel like so soon after the last one, I wouldn't do a second one with him. You know, we already had a stretcher job with Naomi on this show. Merlot Williams definitely did not have a Cena heel turn on my 2025 bingo card in his farewell run, no less. Wow. I'm glad they're not doing the bare minimum, which is literally just, hey, he's coming to town. You know, it's the last time. Come say hi, and, you know, he'll just randomly work with a bunch of people. You know, I think it's great. I think it could end up being very entertaining. Lakers Pat says, Jim Ross, Cena is shaking hands with Satan himself. Oh my God, can you imagine the old JR, like classic prime JR on this call tonight? Oh my God. How great would that have been? Rojo Bear. So Rock is Shang Tsung. Does that make John Cena Goro and Travis Scott Quan Chi? I don't know. Ragnarok. Sami and KO have
It's
what
the amazing Gunther. Jerry Lawler
were done with this
loves
guy.
Gunther, the magnificent. All hail Gunther.
He appears again. I love seeing Gunther. Gunther is my favorite. Ragnarok. Sami and KO have what WWE wants us to think Cena versus Orton had. Also, holy shit, that ending. They did it. They actually did it. Prince Zuko. Greatest heel turn of all time. 21 years in the making, and it gives us a great heel-face dynamic for WrestleMania. I think it's a little early to be calling it the greatest heel turn of all time. I think it's very important to see what the follow-up is. Right? I mean, if we're just judging it on one night, I wouldn't call it the best of all time. But I think when all is said and done, this one could rank pretty high depending on how it plays out over the next several months. It's just too early to... I can't sit here and say that. It was great, though. It was a great segment. Honey Deep Fried Chicken. Hustle, loyalty, respect the legend. Heel Cena activated. Not Cody Homelander tonight. Cody or Cena Peacemaker. Hey, you know what? Now that John Cena is a heel, does that mean he's going to give up? Does that mean we're going to see him submit? Does Cody even have a submission hold? I don't know. I don't think so. The real CS. Next time Triple H says something will be industry changing, we better believe, because what the fuck? A Cena heel turn. Prince Zuko, Hogan Bash at the Beach had tremendous historical significance, but the long wait for this one gives it a case. I still say it depends on the follow-up. This is not Hogan Bash at the Beach. Could it be? I'm still gonna say no, but it's too early to say anything like that. I think that's ridiculous. Gary Koschuk is with us tonight. One of the most shocking moments of my 25 years as a wrestling fan. WrestleMania became can't miss. Last minute plane ride to Vegas for Solomonster. At those prices? Probably not going to happen. Not that I couldn't be swayed, but probably not going to happen. Ross Lawman, that could have been an all-time moment if Travis Scott wasn't there. That final shot with him in between Cena and The Rock was not good for business. Oh, it's good for business. That's why they did it. That's exactly why they did it. And Gary says, oops, I forgot. All hail Gunther. That's right. Don't you forget it. Pisco 95. We're almost caught up now to the column, so I could start scrolling through the column on the left-hand side. Pisco says, we all just witnessed history. For the first time, Cena turns heel. Well, I mean, it's not his first time. It's his first time, I guess, turning heel. It's not his first time as a heel. The road to WrestleMania has finally become intriguing. 10 out of 10 ending, one of the best turns ever. Lord Toron. So John Cena, last WrestleMania will be his first WrestleMania as a heel. Yes. Crazy, isn't it? It's crazy to think. There's our boy. Right there on the left-hand side, you see David Thiering. And look at David Thiering. He dropped a $150 bomb on my ass. Amazing. Amazing. Almost as amazing as Gunther, this guy. Holy shit, that ending, he says. I was not on board initially with Cena winning the Chamber since it was his first win in a very long time, but with how things played out with Punk and Rollins and Cena Rock turning on Cody, it gets a thumbs up from me. WrestleMania is going to be fun. It is. It's going to be fun to follow. Just one of those things that just seemed completely out of reach. You know, it's like, well, if it hasn't happened by now, there's no reason to think it's ever going to happen. I mean, they could barely get the guy to make appearances. He's so fucking busy. And then it's his retirement year, and you know, you want to build sympathy for him because he hasn't really won anything in years and years, and you could tell that story with him, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's a fucking heel. Like, where'd that come from? Noel Mulligan, celebrating 5 months of channel membership. Where is Boots? Boots still here? Boots gifted 50 of them earlier. Do I see red from Zach in the chat? Do I see a red bomb incoming from Zach Jones? Noel says, hi, Solomonster. Love the podcast from Cork, Ireland. Thank you, Noel. It's one of those places I have to visit one day. Ireland. I look like I could be from Ireland. I tan like Sheamus does. Fire Panda with a $48 super chat says, Jesus hot sauce Christmas cake. This is unbelievable. Is this what the Hogan turn felt like? I do feel bad for R-Truth though. His hero is no more. Oh my God, you know what I just realized? You know what I just realized? If they really want to put heat on John Cena, they need to shoot an angle with Cena similar to what they did with Austin after he turned heel. They were trying so hard to put heat on Austin after WrestleMania 17. They had the two-man power trip destroy the Hardys and Lita. And I don't just mean destroy, I'm like beat the fucking shit out of them with chairs and the whole 9 yards, because they were the most popular act in the company, one of them. So what's the easiest way to get heat? Beat up Lita and the Hardys, right? They need to have John Cena have a serious beatdown of R-Truth on TV one of these weeks. Like, R-Truth has to come out, he'll be doing the comedy thing, and it's all ha-ha at first, but then Cena has to lay like a severe beatdown on this guy. Like, not played up for comedy or anything, like beat him down. Maybe even get some blood, put him out for a while. Shit needs to get serious. That's what we need to see. As far as like, is this what the Hogan heel turn felt like? You know, there's going to be people who grew up, who are younger than me and many of the people here, who grew up on John Cena. They didn't grow up on Hulk Hogan. You know, maybe they didn't live through the NWO and the Monday Night War era. you know, in the way that it was a shocking moment that I never thought I would see. Yes, from that perspective, but like, is this the industry changing moment that was? No. No. The circumstances are just very different. You know, I mean, that whole angle is what led to this whole wrestling renaissance. It really did. I mean, you take the NWO out.
Look at Richie Rich over here dropping all this money.
What does the Monday Night War look like?
I just want you to know, I think you rock. I don't mean The Rock, A-Rock, you rock. And I just wanted you to know that.
I love it. I love it. By the way, if anybody is having, everything's fine on my end, but if anybody is having any issues on your end, as far as freezing or anything like that, just refresh. Just refresh the stream, you'll be good to go. We have got Azumar. Azumar with the $10 super chat says, I definitely did not see the Cena heel turn coming, even though the signs were there. I thought he would turn at some point out of desperation, but after WrestleMania. Unbelievably well done, that final segment. It was well done. One minute or so stories with the $9.99 super chat. What a unique name. The only thing missing for me was blood in the Sami and Kevin match, but I'm guessing since Cody was going to bleed, they didn't want to double up. Great show. I'm sure that's exactly why. As soon as the show was over, I said, okay, that's got to be... It just didn't make any sense to me that Owens would get blood in the ladder match, but then he would go right into an unsanctioned match against his best friend, and there would be barbed wire involved, and there's no blood. Like, that just didn't make sense to me. Bred Hart says, have fun, guys. I need some sleep. Come on, man. I'll sleep when I'm dead. You got to hang out and have fun. Eating lightning. Jade attacking Naomi, Bianca distraught while trapped in the pod, Liv's reaction, the stretcher, and the crowd reaction were all perfect. I really felt for Bianca. Well done. Yeah, you know, it's going to kind of get overshadowed, I feel like, by what we saw at the end of the show, but the very first angle they shot tonight was tremendous with Jade. It was the very first thing we saw on the show. And I thought that was also very well done. Holiday 197. I'm expecting big ratings for these shows this week. You know, whatever the Netflix numbers are, SmackDown, you know, on USA, because there is multiple stories here coming out of this show that are unresolved that people are going to want to tune in to find out, like, what's next? Like, why? Why Cena? Why Jade? Why? There's going to be a lot of people tuning into these TV shows this week. Holiday says, WrestleMania just got more interesting. Cena gave us a gift for his farewell tour, turning heel. Hoping Roman returns to babyface. Oh, no, I read that wrong. Hoping Roman returns to face The Rock instead of being penciled into the Punk and Rollins feud. Hope Punk gets his main event next year. Alex, other than the tag match, this was one of the greatest pay-per-views I have ever watched. Thank you to the current management for finally turning Cena heel, and thank you, Solo, for being here live to review a historic show. Incredible. It will definitely go down as one of the more memorable moments that we have seen in this company. Because John Cena, for so long, he was the babyface franchise of this company for 15 plus years. And through that entire period of time, he was the babyface, you know, he was the good guy, the Make-A-Wish guy. He was the guy that you just couldn't see him going over to the bad side because they had so many chances to do it and never did. So you're like, okay, well, this is just the way it is. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but we're not going to see it. And then they drop this on you. And it's with The Rock of all people. So we got The Rock, we got Cena, you know, all this star power involved here. How are those two egos going to coexist? Can they coexist? It's the classic can they coexist story. Sean Nilsson, holy shit, dude. Cena actually turned. Never thought I would see the day. JR Vischer, back from heart surgery stuff. Got an ICD put in and need rest, but back to normal. Again, never thought I would see Cena go heel or Cody drop the F-bomb. Well, JR, I hope everything is going well for you. I'm glad this moment tonight didn't give you a scare, because it was quite shocking. But I'm glad you're doing well. Yeah, Cody dropping the F-bomb too. No censorship either. That was kind of refreshing. It's always nice when your top babyface goes out there and says, go fuck yourself. This is definitely not Vince McMahon's WWE anymore. In case you couldn't tell. The notorious MAG. One of the most memorable moments in WWE history, featuring Travis Scott. Apparently, the angle would not have worked out without Travis Scott and his sage. Anderson Blitz, Golden Era / Attitude Era fans will disagree with me on this, but screw it. John Cena's heel turn is the most shocking wrestling heel turn of my lifetime. Well, there you go. It's on the list. I don't think it's fair to rank exactly where it falls, because it just happened. You know? But no, it's not crazy to say that it is one of the most shocking moments in the history of the company, and one of the greatest, potentially greatest heel turns that has ever been done. I just can't sit here and tell you that it ranks above all the other ones, because it's about more than just the turn when it initially happens. Like, we have to see what the follow-up is. Be like Hogan turning on Savage and Sting and Luger and all of them at Bash at the Beach and doing what he did, and then showing up on the very next Nitro, still wearing the red and yellow and just being Hulk Hogan. Right? That would have sucked. The final boss. Look at this. He took time out of his busy night to drop a super chat here. Saved Mania again. Don't doubt Dwayne. Well, actually, John Cena did, but I'm just saying. The Beast, more toast. I dropped my toast watching that heel turn. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. If the Beast drops his toast, that's a big deal. Lord of Dogtown. Since I can't super chat JD's channel, I'm over here. The first time, it makes the least sense for Cena to turn coat. It's the most shocking. Look, there have definitely been other times where it would have made more sense for him to do it, like years ago. But it's not a case where it's not like you can't make sense of it now. You can. And that's what I'm actually very interested in, that first Cena promo. That's what I'm waiting. I'm hoping we get that on TV this week. I hope they don't make us wait until Friday. I'm hoping we get something on Monday. Heroes Workshop. I hope Cena burns his jorts live on TV. Has a little bonfire in a garbage can, puts the hat, the jorts, the sneakers. HBKC83, who would you say had the better series of matches with Cena? CM Punk or AJ Styles? Oh man, those Styles matches were so great. The SummerSlam match was the best of all of them. And the thing I love about the match where Cena won 16 at the Rumble, they never left the ring. Believe it or not, that entire match, they never went out to the floor. But I have to go Punk. If we're looking at them in totality, I got to give the edge to the CM Punk program. Ayo Winston, you either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. I was going to say, you either die a hero or you live long enough to sell your soul to The Rock. Rock Intensity, 20 years in the making. This is a night I will never forget. Hey, Rock Intensity, man. Thank you for the... Look at Rock Intensity. $45 super chat. My God. Dominic Walker. Hey, Solo, instead of Cena being the old Thugonomics gimmick, he should be a Hollywood character in a suit and temporarily retire the jorts. That's exactly what I said. We're in agreement on that, brother. I don't care. I mean, it could be a suit or it could be just some nicer... I mean, anything's going to be nicer than what he always wears to the ring. Wears a fucking t-shirt and a baseball hat and jorts. Fucking sneakers. I mean, he could put a polo shirt on. He'll be dressed nicer than he usually is. Virum says, maybe Ric Flair costs Cena number 17 and keeps the record intact. How about no? How about we don't do that? Toby says, what's the goal? I don't think it matters, man. We've already smashed it. Where are we at on the likes? Almost 1,300 likes. I think we're good. Keep them coming. Alex the Spiteful Gorochu with a $10 super chat. I never thought I would live to see the day in all my 16 years of watching wrestling. This was the wildest ending to a pay-per-view I have ever seen. Mr. Rod, talk about making headlines. Cena finally turns heel. Says, wow. Maddie L. Decided kind of last minute to go see the show in person. So glad I did. That ending is absolutely a core wrestling memory for me. I am so hyped. That's great that you got to be there for it. That's awesome. King Nader with the $50 super chat. A good PLE tonight. That ending was awesome. I hope we get the Doctor of Thugonomics and Cena starts doing freestyles on all the baby faces. See, I'd rather just see him sort of evolve that. I mean, if he wants to cut freestyles on people, that's great. I don't want to just see him go back to Thugonomics Cena. I want to see an evolved heel version of John Cena. Not just go back to what he was doing, 20 years ago. Deb to Dust. I hope Cena goes for the 1989 Terry Funk route with his heel turn. Can't go wrong with anything Terry Funk. Nicholas, they better be resurrecting his Thugonomics theme with a Hollywood spin. Oh God, if he wins the title, is he going to spin? Oh no, we might get the spinner belt back. All right, now I don't want to see him win the title now. If he brings that damn spinner belt back, that'll complete the heel turn for me. No belt should spin. I'm going to stand by that. Holiday 197, do you think Seth will be revealed as being in cahoots with The Rock? It's convenient that Seth attacked Punk, ensuring Cena's win in heel fashion. How did The Rock know that Cena would win? Insurance policy? I see what you're saying. I don't think that's what's going to be revealed, though. I think you're reading too much into it. Eminem says, well, I didn't think they would pull the trigger on Cena's heel turn, but I'm all in with this play. My brother did make a good point. Punk got that favor. What if Heyman comes out on Raw and says, it won't be one-on-one, it's one-on-one-on-one. Well, I don't think he's got the power to make that decision unilaterally like that, so it would take some heavy lifting. The average grunt. Are we finally going to see the new gear and theme that Cena made for himself for the heel turn in 2012 that was apparently close to happening? You do realize that the gear was literally, it was a singlet. He wore it on an episode of Total Divas. That's not a good look for him to have in 2025. That's just not going to be a good look. Cena in a singlet, that doesn't work for this gimmick, I don't think. What did it say on the singlet? What did it say? Fear my wrath or something? I forgot what it said on the singlet. Jeremy Rose, more shocking John Cena turn. Or more shocking, John Cena turn or Travis Scott slapping Cody? Dude was playing the Dennis Rodman role. Yeah, you guys make it sound like we're going to see Travis Scott every week. I'm sure it was just a one-off. No cap, Cena laying down for Cody the ultimate compliment on his way out. Hollywood Cena with his old theme. Mr. Rod with Cena turning heel. Does this give you Hulk Hogan Bash at the Beach 96 vibes? Me personally, no, but I mean, I could see where it might for some people. I mean, I remember what my reaction was and how stunned I was, right? Which is not to say that it wasn't surprising, but I always knew this was a possibility coming into tonight. When Hogan turned, it wasn't even a thought in my head. It just wasn't a thought in my head. So it was more shocking to me. But I feel like we've all spent the last few weeks talking about who's going to go heel. Is it going to be Cena? Is it going to be Punk? Is it going to be Rollins? Like, it was already being discussed. Like, the idea was already there. I just didn't think they would actually do it. The Bloob. So it's not the Blob, it's the Bloob with the $2 super chat. Think Rock will push Cena too far and turn him back. Well, Cena's going to have to turn back at some point this year, so that may be what happens. I don't know. But there's definitely a redemption arc waiting for him. He's not going to retire as a heel. Jeremy Rose with the $20. The Bianca story doesn't make sense still. Why didn't she have any communication with Jade? I think they made a remark about this on TV recently where Jade was... I forgot what word she used, but it was like Jade's kind of off the grid. I could have sworn they made reference to it and tried to explain it. Obviously, they haven't done a very good job of explaining it. It says, furthermore, why does she say in the post-show that she needs to talk to Naomi and Jade? Why isn't that the first thing that you do after the match? Maybe they left the building. Naomi's at a local medical facility and Jade already left. See, I just answered your question. Oh, I remember what it was now. Fear my name. That's what it was. That's what it said on Cena's heel singlet on Total Divas. Fear my name. David Thiering with the $50 super chat. Man, that air horn is getting worn out tonight. Let's make Bonus Be the Booker a reality tonight. Oh, it's already a reality. We already hit our goal. Much deserved after a night like this, in my opinion. We are getting a bonus round of Be the Booker yet to come. Yuri says Drake McMahon. Ross Lawman says Cena turn is my bash at the beach. P.S. Thank you, Boots. Ah, I see Ross got gifted, huh? He got gifted a membership by Boots. Power Spying Games says Ramadan Mubarak. That's right. I believe Ramadan began on Friday night, I believe. It's all celebrating. Cena heel turn at long last. Face Beer says Rocky Weinstein. I was getting some vibes from that guy. JM with the $50 super chat. What's up, Solo? Has The Rock yet stated that he, Cena, and Cody shared tequila after the show? Yeah, you know what? That was my question. Anybody who saw the post show. Did The Rock show up at the press conference and talk about what a great angle this is and how him and Cena and Cody were so happy they pulled it off and they were celebrating drinking Terramana? and rubbing Papa Tui all over their bodies in the locker room. Anthony, the Magic Man. Anthony Iovino, top 10 PLE ever. Somebody was happy about the Elimination Chamber. Top 10 ever, he says. Wow. Aaron Tucker with the $9.99 first super chat. You think we get Roman and Cody against Rock and Cena down the line? Also, heel Cena versus babyface Punk. That's going to be fun. We have to get that at some point. Roman and Cody against Rock and Cena? It's as always, it's always just dependent on The Rock. They're not going to do it at WrestleMania. I don't know. You really think Rock is going to want to wrestle on any show other than WrestleMania? I mean, that'd be a huge match to do. If it happens, though, it's... I just don't know what show that would be on. A. Jackson. So this is how it felt when Hogan turned. Shaking my head. Well, we didn't have garbage being thrown into the ring tonight like we did when Hogan turned. See, if this was like Hogan's heel turn, the ring would have been just filled with crap. It would have been filled with garbage. They don't do that anymore. Bron says, of course they made us security guards look weak. They always do, Bron. They make you guys look weak every single week. It's a slap in the face. Junker. Can't believe they pulled the trigger on that heel turn. It was right in front of us the entire time. When he made the comment about how it's best for business that I win number 17, that should have been the tip-off. Downbad says, I was a year old when Bash at the Beach 96 happened. I would like to think that this is what it felt like back then. To a lot of people, it is. It is. I mean, for the modern era, for like this current era, this is basically this era's version of that. Like without ranking which one's bigger or more shocking, like this is what the Hogan heel turn was to that audience back then. That's what this is now to this audience. I'll agree with that. Numby. Finally, Cena can wear suits and retire his jorts. Hey Lee, thank you for the super chat. Pam is here. Says, hey Solomonster, fantasy booking. Since The Rock got John Cena to sell his soul, what if he endorses a heel corporate woman as well? Bianca Belair. Boy, we're just turning everybody heel, aren't we? Look, I think a heel Bianca is way overdue. If they want to do it, fucking do it, man. I'd be in favor of it. I would love it. I think Bianca is overdue for a heel turn. Nick Grasso says, with Cena turning heel, does he completely change his presentation? Does he get new music, and does he ditch the baseball hat and shorts and come out in a corporate suit? I don't know about a suit, but yeah, you got to change the presentation up in some way. It cannot be the same old John Cena. It's got to be a whole new attitude, a whole new visual. Can't just be the same thing. If he comes out in the same outfit with the little towel saying the last time is now, it's almost like what happened tonight never even happened. I mean, what would be the point of that? This is an opportunity for them to do some really fun shit. Part of that is changing the presentation, the look, the feel, the verbiage, everything around it. You got to shake everything up. Says, Yo-Yo Sup. Bianca Bell Hogan over anyone else was such a Triple H move. Bianca Bell Hogan. Bad pin on Alexa. Merch selling God. Should have replaced Naomi. Triple H can't book women. Bliss fan, is that you? I mean, Alexa does sell a lot of merch, but that doesn't mean I want to see her in the ring at WrestleMania this year with Rhea Ripley. That's not the best Rhea Ripley match that they could have done. Craig with the 10. My brother and I bet on the Soul selling. Me, Cena, him, Punk. He wins. I owe him a Fatu shirt. I win. He had to buy himself an LA Knight shirt, who he despises. He said when he gets it, he's burning it. Cheers. He's going to burn it. You know how much those shirts go for now? I looked it up, like those WWE.com or WWE shop shirts, like with the tax and shipping and everything. It's like $35 a shirt. I mean, they're not that nice. Bianca Bell Hogan. Venom Kitetsu with a $25 super chat. I actually live a stone's throw away from the area that Stone Cold lives in. There's occasional releases of his IPA to local stores. If I get a hold of any, would you want to coordinate getting a can for yourself somehow? Well, I appreciate that. There is a place it's not in the area where I live, but occasionally I venture out to the island. And there are some places that will have the IPA. There's a new one. There's a 316 IPA in a black can that just came out. I don't know if we have it here yet. Let me search around for it first, because it's possible that there's some place that has it. I just haven't seen it anywhere. Uffman Entertainment. John Cena did the I don't owe you people an explanation non-verbal version at the post-show press conference. I can't wait until we get the You People promo. This is all your fault. You people made me do this. It's not a heel turn until we get the You People promo. GMB with the $5 super chat. Next time Orton returns after being gone for a while, another huge moment will happen the same night. First, Punk returns, and Cena's heel turn tonight. Yeah, you know what? Poor Randy Orton. This guy can't come back and have the spotlight to himself. He got outshined by CM Punk at Survivor Series. And now he gets upstaged by John Cena. Hey, you know, I just realized babyface Randy Orton against heel John Cena is a possibility as well. Unless they hold Orton off as Cena's last match. Possible, you know, by the end of the year, Cena will be babyface again. So maybe they'll be babyfaces by the time they do it, but we could get heel Cena against babyface Orton. All the matches they ever had, it was always the reverse. It was never the opposite. Lee says, crowd went crazy for Punk, Rock, Travis, Cena. Full circle moment. Cena and Bray had a WrestleMania match and was with the NWO gear to be a heel for a few moments. You know what? I do remember that from the Firefly Funhouse match. That's right. He came out with the NWO shirt on. He was playing the air guitar. Blue Jay says, leave the supernatural stuff alone. Bliss is in doubt. Bliss is in doubt? I don't know what that means. JM with the $20 drop says, if Stone Cold can't make a WrestleMania return to fight off The Rock, what about former WWF director Kayfabe? Hear me out. You play classic WWF WrestleMania theme and out struts Kayfabe, Dwayne's arch nemesis. Yeah, Dwayne doesn't like Kayfabe too much. He thinks she's a real bitch. Nick Grasso says, I do agree that Liv and Raquel will face Alexa and Nikki, but I think they add Damage Control and Nia and Candice because they are not leaving Nia off WrestleMania and they can't leave Io off. Punk against Rollins versus Reigns, night one main event is what I predict. If that's the match, then that's your main event. It's not Gunther and Jey Uso. So Punk may get his WrestleMania main event anyway. It would just be night one instead of night two. Holiday 197. Cena will probably be a Hollywood type heel, saying how accomplished he is. Sami versus Kevin was match of the... You know what's funny about that, though? We have Rock and Cena now, right? Two big Hollywood guys, and now they're on the same side. And I mentioned Batista. Like, of all the wrestlers turned Hollywood actors, like, the best true actor of the bunch is actually Batista, who's not involved in any of this. But he goes, anyway, Sami versus Kevin was match of the night. Io chases the women's Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. Maybe. I'm not convinced that either of those mid-card titles are even going to be defended at WrestleMania. The way things are going? You feel confident about that? Because I don't. Thunder Force. I think Cena's heel run will be similar to Shawn Michaels in 05. He does the job and then goes right back to being a babyface. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm fearing. I'd like for it to be a little bit longer than that. We got Muta here, Majid. 600 plus Make-A-Wish kids are rolling in their graves tonight. There's going to be a lot of very disappointed children out there. How many children do you think were watching this show crying their little eyes out? They were crying into their My Last Time Is Now towels. Man, they're going to have nightmares tonight. Jack Davis says, I think maybe what happens is Cena loses at WrestleMania, realizes that it was not worth selling his soul, turns babyface after a beatdown, wins number 17 later. Yeah, it could be. It could be that he was just so desperate, he felt he had to do something like this, and then it doesn't work out, right? He pays the price for it, sees the error of his ways. He gets, he's absolved of his sins, goes back to being, or has to earn the trust of the fans, right? Maybe he has to win Money in the Bank or something, earn his way to a title match at SummerSlam. Could see that. The Yatagaratsu. All that Hollywood acting The Rock and John Cena have done throughout their years went towards that one moment. P.S. We should name the stable Outworld. I don't know if it's really a stable right now. Need a few more people to make it a stable. J.R. Vichair. Someone needs to check in on R-Truth. Oh, don't worry. He's got something coming. He's got a beating coming his way. Bobby's World. He keeps jacking Cena's moves. He's got a beating coming his way. Stealing this guy's moves on TV every week. Bobby's World says, forget about the Cena heel turn. I want to hear about Redline's heel turn on the Dynamite streams to become the pre-stream song for Raw. Finish the story. Bobby's World gifted a membership to SB the Bully. Creative Minds of Awesomeness. First time super chatting. I'm still stunned at what went down. Cena turned heel. Tell me I didn't just see that. Oh, you saw it. We all saw it. Ryan Hood. KO in danger of the RKO punt, and WWE officials and security assemble like the Avengers to save him. Great review as always. Yeah, they jump. Boy, did they jump in harm's way. They were like the Secret Service jumping in the way of a bullet. The way they dove into that ring. Rarely even. I never thought this company would have the spine to do it, but they did it. Yeah, and all it took was the fact that they don't really rely on Cena to be their top babyface and their top merch seller anymore. That's all it took. He's just a guy now, so they could do whatever they want with him. Mikey claiming shocked that we didn't see Reigns lay out Rollins. You know what? There was so much happening on the show tonight. It would have been too much, right? We had Jade come back. We had Randy Orton come back. We had the Cena heel turn. You didn't need Roman on this show. It would have just gotten lost in the noise of everything, right? Save it for TV. Alex says it's crazy that for night one of WrestleMania 40, we booked a Cena versus Cody First Blood match and be the booker. 1 year later, that match is becoming a reality with a massive twist. Yeah, well, Cody was the one doing the bleeding tonight. So we actually had blood. Hey, Larry Jester was gifted a membership by Bobby's World. Welcome, Larry. A.O. Winston. Drake made a minor appearance. Had to spend a couple of extra bucks for the clever joke. Clever joke? I just said he made a minor appearance. He wasn't even acknowledged on TV. It was a minor appearance. Whatever do you mean, Winston? Rarely even says Rock said Cena got on a flight to Africa after the show, so who knows when he will explain himself. Oh, come on. Are we going to have to wait weeks to see him on TV? See, this is what I don't like. If we have to wait weeks to see this fucking guy back on TV, like that's ridiculous. We need him to actually appear on TV. Not every week, but he's got to be around. Real gamer for life with the 50. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Salute to you too, my friend. Thank you for all that you do. Showing love from Long Island, New York, the most magical place on earth. Thank you, Real Gamer. I appreciate you and all my Long Island fans. Strong Island, that's what it is. Strong Island. Mikey Clayman. Cena's last match should be where he debuted at the Allstate Arena in Chicago against his greatest rival, Chicago's own CM Punk. Would you agree? I think that would be a fine choice. A little weird because you're putting Cena in his last match in someone else's hometown. Would it not make more sense to do it in Boston? Tech. Are people going to boo Cody and cheer heel Cena? Some people will. I don't think the majority of people will, but you'll have people who are just so happy to see heel Cena, he's going to get some cheers. But that, when I mentioned the R-Truth thing, like I didn't say that as a joke even. Like, they're going to have to come up with ways if they really want people to boo this man, to really put heat on him. And that would just be one way of doing it, because R-Truth is this beloved figure, you know? And so if he's the victim of a savage beatdown, that's just one way of possibly doing that, you know? Rarely even says if Cena is going heel, he needs to be full bore heel. No more jobs. No more jobs. No more jorts or ball cap. New music, the whole nine. Bruno. This has to be the best pay-per-view between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania of all time. It's a very select, like a very specific criteria there. I think you might be right. Derek J. Speaks, could be wrong, but I see this being a short heel run, similar to HBK in 05. Can't see Cena winning number 17 as a heel either. Either way, he says. Fucking awesome moment. Yeah, I mean, just give me more than just 2 months. You know? Take it into the summer, and then you can go from there. James Adams, so what is Heyman's favorite for Punk then? I don't know, but I said the only thing that really makes sense to me is Punk cashing in that favor for, if not a WrestleMania main event spot, then hold on now. Wait a minute. You may have just answered your own question here, because if we assume that Roman Reigns is going to be back shortly, right? And he's going to be looking for revenge on Seth Rollins. Let's say they make that match for WrestleMania, right? The match is made, Roman Reigns against Seth Rollins. Well, CM Punk has a bone to pick with Seth Rollins. And it could be a case where he goes, you know what? I need to be in this match. And we just talked about, like, if that match is on night one, there's your night one main event. That's how Punk gets into his WrestleMania main event. And he gets to get his revenge on Seth Rollins by being inserted into that match. that could be the favor. That could be the favor. Because in my mind, it has to tie into either a WrestleMania main event spot or a title match. And he's not getting a title match this year. See, that would actually make sense. The Juliet says, I'm still in shock. Jabe Shepard. Cody is going to call a certain rattlesnake. Oh, I hope so. That's what I'm banking on. That's what I'm hoping for.
It's the amazing Gunther.
Oh, he's back.
Jerry Lawler loves Gunther, the Magnificent. All hail Gunther. The mighty Gunther is back. My favorite person. Love me some Gunther.
Love it. Rizzo with the $20 super chat. I swear Cody has some odd fetish about being hit with a belt. Being hit with a belt. He does get whipped with a belt a lot, doesn't he? It happened last year, too. It happened in AEW, right? He got the 10 lashes from MJF and Wardlow. That's right. I think he does have a weird fetish. What a show, and I'm shocked they pulled the trigger with a Cena turn, although like you, I thought something was up when he didn't leave when The Rock came out. Markel, 42 months of membership. Good stream as usual, and I like this new side of Cena. Little kid me excited and shocked. Rarely Even says the love fest that would have unfolded with a face versus face Cena and Cody program would have been nauseating. They just come out every week and they compliment each other. Put each other over. Uffman says, when Cena announced his retirement tour, I called him and told him to turn heel. Brother Jack dude. Said Hulk Hogan probably. Yeah, somehow this is all Hogan's idea. He'll take credit for it. I think one of my favorite Hogan-isms is him saying that he had the idea to turn heel after he lost to the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6, and he was going to be the original Triple H. That's when he was going to be Hollywood Hulk Hogan back in 1990. But that damn Vince McMahon, man, he just wouldn't let him do it. Yuri says, does a pile driver hurt Cena more if he is dropped on his bald spot versus on his hair? Kind of like a target? Maybe. It's possible. I think his bald spot has a bald spot from what I saw tonight. If you could just nail it perfectly, though, that might be his kryptonite. Ross Lawman says Stone Cold Steve Austin going heel in 2026 and Rey Mysterio in 2027. Spartan Sprinkles was watching with a new viewer explain marks to her, then marked out when Cena went heel. She was confused. But Chain Gang soldiers know that the doctor is back. Easy there, big fella. Yuri says, who beats Cena for the title if he wins it? I think Cody could just win the belt back. If he takes it from Cody, I think Cody winning it back is probably the likeliest scenario. OM2 cool. Fuck yeah. He's very excited. John Sterniker live pinned Alexa. Do you see Judgment Day against the Wyatt Six at WrestleMania? Well, if by Judgment Day you mean Liv and Raquel, yes, because I think it's a women's tag team title match, not necessarily a whole program with all the members, especially because they're on different brands. I mean, I guess WrestleMania season, that doesn't really matter, but they are on different brands. I'm looking at it as a women's tag team title situation, though. I still think Balor and Dominic and them, they're probably doing something different. Bogus Fan. Needed this show tonight. Had to put my fur baby down early this morning. I got to get my mind off things. I'm very sorry to hear that. That sucks. And that's the best thing you could do, honestly. I don't have any better advice for you other than just trying to take your mind off it as much as possible, but I'm very sorry to hear that. Yuri says, since, say, Austin and the Rock era, who's proved to be totally made for wrestling more than Orton or Kenny Omega? Who has proven to be totally made for wrestling more? I'm not sure I understand the question. They're both great wrestlers. Mister, can we start calling it the FU again? That would be funny, actually. If he starts calling it the STFU. Santiago, just a question. Says, you don't...
Off is a direction you can fuck.
Well, that's just mean. That's just mean. He says, just a question. You don't consider John Cena's Dr. Thugonomics character back in the day a heel character? I thought it was. No, I mean, it was, but the people just sort of gravitated towards it because they liked him. It started out as a heel character. And the fans just, it grew on them. Grant Hudson, bold and disruptive, unpredictable and dangerous. The Hollywood two-man power trip. The final boss has done it again. Number 321, throat slash. He did do the throat slash. I mean, I didn't mention that, but like, he gave the throat slash symbol right before Cena delivered the low blow. That was sort of his cue to Cena. Culver, Travis Scott being a heel and in a group with the final boss and Cena is amazing. Says, LA Flame is one of the biggest musicians in the world. I don't know. I don't know if it was a one-off or not. I mean, I'm not expecting to see him on TV every week. If they could get him on TV every week, it'd be a big get for them, but that's not how I read it. OM2 cool. What a journey it has been for The Rock and Cena as well. Once in a lifetime, twice in a lifetime. Never thought this would happen in our lifetimes. Base beer is Travis Scott should have done the people's elbow. Larry Jester, Bianca got over being traumatized pretty darn fast. Hey, you know what? A win will do wonders for your mood. She knows she's going to WrestleMania. That's all that matters. Power Spying Games, rest in peace, Angie Stone. R&B Soul lost a great one today. There it is. What did I say last night on the SmackDown stream? I said they come in threes. Michelle Trachtenberg, Gene Hackman. Well, I guess Roberta Flack is another one. And now Angie Stone. Yuri. I know you're more Money in the Bank than any other sport. Money in the Bank. I read that as Money in the Bank. I know you're more MLB than any other sport. But being a Queens head, does that make you a fellow Jets? I'm not from Queens. Who said I'm from Queens? Just because I like the Mets doesn't mean I'm a Queens head. Does that make you a fellow Jets fan suffering along with us? If I had to pick a football team, it would be the Jets, not the Giants. But I would hardly say I'm some huge, gigantic Jets fan. I mean, I can only take so much suffering. I've suffered enough over the years with the Mets. This will be our turnaround year. Ross Lawman rocks Soul promo on repeat or Brie mode for your MRI scan. The Rock Soul promo went on for far longer than Brie mode did, so I actually might stick with Brie mode if I was stuck in that little tube again. Base beer is hold up. Shouldn't Randy have come to Cody's aid? No, he was probably off looking for Kevin Owens. That guy Yeager. Now that The Rock's hand gesture at the end of Bad Blood has renewed meaning. Yeah, I wonder about that. I wonder if that was just something they're trying to connect the dots because we had these things sort of hanging out there. Or how far in advance that they, like when Rock came out of Bad Blood and did the throat slash, right? Did they know at that point that John Cena was going heel at Elimination Chamber? Like, I question how far in advance some of these things were known. If not, I mean, I could appreciate them going back and at least trying to tie up some loose ends. Also, the hockey stick was the most over weapon in my opinion. I still think it was the table. You can't beat the table. Truly Spencer. Finally, now I'm glad I spent $1,500 on my WrestleMania trip. That's it? That's cheap compared to what some people are spending, especially if they're going with kids. Zach Jones. Oh my God, Zach Jones is in here with a 100. A $100 super chat. You love to see it. I smashed my TV in front of 30 guests at my party because of the Cena heel turn. My wife just took our crying kids and said they're all spending the week at a hotel. WWE has ruined my life and my party. I can't handle this anymore. Goodbye, Solo. I am no longer a fan. See, this is what I mean. This is what John Cena has caused here. John Cena has caused families to break up. That's what this heel turn has done. Brandon Vasquez. 18 months ago, who would have thought that CM Punk would be back in WWE, Rock would turn heel last year, and Cena would turn heel this year? Not this guy. That's why they say in wrestling, never say never. Kung Fu Joseph. Rock and Cody since Raw after Mania has had weird sexual undertones. Could you see it culminate in a kiss? He kissed Cody on SmackDown last week. He gave him a hug and he gave him a kiss. A. Lavelle, what's up, Solomonster? Hope you are doing well. Do you believe this heel turn is better than Hogan joining the NWO? We already talked about this. I'm not comparing the two. Right now, the answer is no. But what they did tonight is very well done. It was a shocking moment. I don't think we need to compare. Emperor Comet. What would Cody's submission finish be? Get creative. Don't say figure 4. Also, I've been waiting 800 years for heel Cena. Well, he could use Hell's Gate, but he'll have to go to the Undertaker and ask for permission first. Since Undertaker helped him win the title at WrestleMania last year, I suspect he's not going to mind. The learning sicko, Dr. Bropio, say it isn't so, and John lost that loving feeling by turning heel. And I can't go for that and process this right now, but when the morning comes, some things are better left unsaid. I couldn't say it better myself if I tried. Cody will do the Rock's sharpshooter. So basically what you're saying is Cody will never win another match. Ain't nobody winning with that sharpshooter. Yeah, Cody could just go to Michelle McCool and ask for permission to use the Hell's Gate. The Nerve Ensemble. Cena's retirement tour suddenly got more interesting. Yes, it did. OM2 Cool. What should happen if Lillian calls her Roxanne Perez again? She should be barred from ringside. Hi, Sidro. You're no Sidro. Okay, so don't even try. Don't even try. Abyssal Zones. I think there was a cool little hint at the turn during the Chamber promo. The last shot of Cena had light being replaced by shadow on his face. Harold says Bianca and Montez should join The Rock this year. Yeah, Montez should join The Rock. He's been waiting long enough for his turn. Let him join The Rock. Ross Lawman, that hair lasso spot with Liv and Bianca had me laughing. Yeah, she had Bianca by the braid at one point, and she was whipping her back and forth against the chain, into the ropes, against the chains, into the ropes, like 7 times. Nicholas. What if Triple H is setting up heel Cena versus CM Punk at WrestleMania next year? Gives both Cena his redemption angle and Punk is ultimate WrestleMania send-off moment. Cena's not wrestling next year. I believe him when he says that this year is it. This is it. 2025 is his last year. They're not marketing this entire year around it being his final year and then having him show up at WrestleMania next year. So there will be no more WrestleManias for him after this year. Carlos says, I called it last week. Cena turned. Well, there it is. Carlos called it. There it is, everybody. The way he jumped at Punk when Rollins stomped was super heelish. Well, yeah, I did point that out. He was very opportunistic in the way he jumped to win that chamber match. But you know what? In the chamber, there are no rules. It's all fair. He didn't do anything wrong. Pisco says, where does this leave Punk? I believe the night 1 main event will be him against Rollins with some stipulation. And maybe Roman being involved somehow. Yeah, I would say Roman will be involved somehow. Roman will be in the match. The match might end up being Roman and Rollins. That might be announced first. And then Punk maybe cashes in the favor to be inserted into the match. That might be where the favor comes into play. The Nerve Ensemble, Cody F-Bomb, shocking as the Mounties' middle finger. Yes, from SummerSlam. I remember that well. Ross Lawman, has anyone checked in on Santi's app after the Cena heel turn? I think he was there. I think he was at the show, wasn't he? He's the one, I think, who took the picture of Drake sitting in the front row. It looked like he was sitting right behind him.
Off is the direction you can fuck.
Maybe that's what he told Drake. He leaned in and said, off is the direction you could fuck. Kung Fu Joseph, Rock and Cena, the new 2-man power trip. Rizzo, poor Randy. He returned at Survivor Series and got overshadowed by Punk, and tonight he returns only to be overshadowed by John Cena. That might be what sends him over the edge. Brand Flakes, could we get Cody and Roman against Rock and Cena eventually? We could, I just don't know where you would do it. Maybe that's a SummerSlam. Remember, we got 2 nights of SummerSlam this year for the first time, so maybe they could do what they did at WrestleMania last year and set up a tag match on night 1 that leads into night 2. They got 2 nights at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey this year. Slim Yoshi. Feels surreal seeing the John Cena heel turn. Had no words. I've watched him as the heroic babyface as a kid. My hero, and I'm glad I've lived to see him as a heel in my current adult years. Saying, for all these people that grew up on him as a babyface, like, this is a big deal. Azumari says, I just realized that the end of Money in the Bank 2011 and Elimination Chamber 2025 play off each other. 2011, he didn't want outside interference against Punk. 2025, we see him happily take the win against Punk after interference. Interesting. Crazy. This event is still surreal. It's like if someone made this in WWE Universe mode and downloaded Travis Scott from the Community Creations. Holiday 197. I'd be curious to see a heel Cena versus face Orton program after their historic rivalry. I hope they take the opportunity while they can. Yuri says Cena's version of Not Like Us performed at Mania aimed at Cody. Hey, William, what's going on, man? Thank you for the $10. And thank you guys for hanging out with me. It's 2 o'clock in the morning here on the East Coast. And I have a podcast to do today. I'm in the middle of doing a podcast, but I have an actual podcast to do today. Gee, I wonder what we'll talk about. William says, if John can't retire as a heel, does he vanquish the final boss before leaving active wrestling? Fear My Name was a trademark filed in 2011 and on a singlet for Cena. Another Cena Rock match? I don't know that we need to see that. I mean, after all, it was The Rock on that post-show press conference last week, right? Who said, well, me and Cody, we don't even have to have a match. That's the beauty of it. Right? Him and Cena, they don't have to have a match to tell their story. Pisco says Cody has managed to turn both Rock and Cena heel. I think that speaks a lot of how over he is and how much WWE trusts him. I don't think he should lose at WrestleMania. Cena winning 17 is a babyface moment. I agree. It is a babyface moment. It would be weird for him to set the record as a heel. I'm too cool to put to rest this debate. This is this generation's Bash at the Beach 96 turn, but it really doesn't beat the real thing. Still an incredible moment, though. Brandon Vasquez, Austin at WrestleMania 17 was the most shocking turn for me. Although the follow-up was bad after. In the moment, to align with Vince, no one saw that coming. AM Vital, Vince is having a stroke, seeing Cena go heel. I mean, the man's almost 80 years old. He may be having a stroke just in general. Jack Davis, I don't think WWE wants Cena winning 17 as a heel. I don't think so either. Devin says, was that the greatest low blow in wrestling history? Oh, I don't know. I mean, the Undertaker had some pretty good low blows on Brock Lesnar. Those were pretty funny. How about all the times that Nakamura low blowed AJ Styles? Larry Jester, John Cena after WrestleMania. I want my country back. Oh, that popped me. That popped me. Well done. Well done. I want my country back. Travis McDowell. The Rock throwing up the 3 fingers at Backlash was actually a John Cena hand signal. It wasn't Backlash, it was bad blood. Chris Manson. Well, I thought Collision was good. So you're the one. Poor Collision. Poor Collision. Wrath says Elimination Chamber 2024 was the first PLE I watched live. 1 year of watching wrestling later, here we are. One hell of a night. Did not imagine that Cena would go heel. Mario DeRose. Here we go. We're getting to the end here, and then we got 2 rounds of Be the Booker we got to get through. Hulk Hogan should be part of this storyline. He is the god of this company. To boo him is a slap in the face of us 80s fans. I'll slap him in the face. Send him my way. Zachariah Sitchin says, R-Truth in denial right now. He replied to Brandy's Cena sucks tweet by tweeting, we can't jump to conclusions. Got a feel for him that his childhood hero, that is his childhood hero. Yuri says MJF is a heel, but he ain't lying about Long Island. The most magical place on earth. West Coast Samoan, although Plainview's a little out of my price range. But, you know, he's got that Tony Khan money, so he can afford it. West Coast Samoan with the $50 super chat. I've never paid this much for a super chat, but I've been following you since before WrestleMania 31. I'm drunk, and I feel like you earned my money. Cheers, Solomonster from Los Angeles. Well, West Coast Samoan, thank you. There's a lot. There's a huge Samoan population out there. That's where the Wild Samoans came up. Something about that California area. But I appreciate that, man. That was, God, WrestleMania 31. So you're going back 10 years with me. That's very cool. Thank you, brother. Tonga Loa superfan, who I'm sure is very upset that he did not make his return tonight like Randy Orton did. Well, there was no Tonga Loa, so I have to dock it a few, I don't know what that means. Dock it a few points off. But that was a near perfect show. I wonder what would happen if Alexa Bliss was about to win the Elimination Chamber, but Tonga Loa came out and cost her the match. Like, would Tonga Loa superfan and Bliss fan have a fight to the death? I'd pay, because legit, I would pay money to see that. I would take half the super chat money and just pay for just a big boxing fight between Tonga Loa superfan and Bliss fan. I have no idea who would win. I don't care who would win. It would just be fun. Mikey Clayman. Punk's past comments would suggest that he would not accept Night 1's main event as a true WrestleMania main event. At least personally. Well, he's going to have to take it and like it, because that's about all he's going to get if he wants one this year. OM2 Cool, Cody, if you will. He likes belts. Ross Lawman turned Cena to make all the kiddies burn their Cena merch, turn him face 3 months later, and put all new merch on the website with 20% markup. Triple H is a genius. Jabe Shepard, where would Stone Cold come into this before WrestleMania? I don't think so. I don't think he wants to travel. But he made it very clear that WrestleMania is coming to his backyard this year, and so he sounded more open to it. It could just be a surprise appearance, It's WrestleMania, Rock's out there in Cena's corner. Cody's got nobody to back him up. Glass shatters, out comes Stone Cold. You don't have to overthink it. I mean, it doesn't need to be anything terribly fancy. Austin's not making any appearances on TV before WrestleMania. Austin didn't appear on TV before WrestleMania when he had a WrestleMania match. He's not. Plus, also keep in mind, he is recovering from a knee replacement. So, I mean, he's pretty far along at this point. By the time WrestleMania rolls around, he should be fine. But if anything, it would just be a surprise Mania cameo. I don't think it has to be anything formal. Donnie Yasu, I can't believe we got a John Cena heel turn before GTA 6. You're also going to get the John Cena babyface turn back before GTA 6. Tonga Loa fan against Bliss fan in Hog. I'll book. Hey, I'm the commissioner. I can book it. I'd book that in a heartbeat. Kung Fu Joseph, theory tonight was at the end of Face/Super Cena, and he'll be Dr. Thugonomics Cena for the rest of the year, and culminates with the rumored Ruthless Aggression pay-per-view at the end of the year, like he told Kurt. There's a Ruthless Aggression pay-per-view rumored for the end of the year. Yuri says, Batista as an actor or wrestler? I say actor. I really enjoy the stuff I've seen him in. I really enjoy it. He's actually very good. OM2 Cool. This show and your stream helping me heal from Gene Hackman's passing. Rest in peace, Goat, Betsy Arakawa, and their dog. Also, Michelle Trachtenberg, 39, is very young. It is very young. Donnie Yasu, I wonder if we will get the long-hidden heel Cena theme from 2012. George, you missed David Johansen, also passing away from cancer. Yeah, I mean, there's too many people passing away from cancer. I don't like this. Luis, hate being sick with the flu. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. I don't like hearing that. Hate being sick with the flu. That's terrible. The Rock and John Cena can go freak themselves. Cena just proved to everyone that his victory is undeserving. Man, Luis's night just went from bad to worse. He's got the flu, and then John Cena turns heel. Oh, God. Fire Panda says Def Rebel should do Cena's heel theme. Oh, God. What would the opening soundbite be? Would it just say heel? Heel. Here's the opening soundbite to John Cena's Def Rebel theme.
Heel.
Fuck Def Rebel. Plus Ultra Adrian, I like how the crowd reacted to Cena's face and throat slash before he kicked Cody. Hydrograd with the 22. Poor Randy. 2 returns in a row overshadowed by bigger moments on the same show. Also, do you think that we'll finally hear the music that was made for Cena in 2012 when he was originally going to turn heel? I hope so, because everybody's asking about it. Everybody wants to hear this thing. Duff's Vids, what do you call a rabbit with fleas? Bugs Bunny. Great PLE tonight and shocked at John turning heel. Thank you, Solo. Thank you. Chris Manson says, what's the latest that you stayed during a stream? Oh God, it was probably one of the WrestleMania streams. It was probably 3:30 in the morning, I think. Larry Jester, John Cena definitely needs a new look and a theme. Maybe something like Fear My Name. And I appear, I believe I'm John Cena. I believe I'm John Cena. Hey, you know, that Joe Hendry match he's been trying to get, that hits a little bit different now, doesn't it? He's been lobbying for a John Cena match. Cameron Spencer, who is the better fictional animal? Scruff McGruff, Tony the Tiger, or Smokey the Bear? All are popular fictional animals. Yes, I'm aware. Tony the Tiger. Clay V Man, Cena is going to attack R-Truth. He better. He has to. I mean, it's such low-hanging fruit. You got to do it. You got to do it. Super Pony, KO is the MVP of 2025. So far, give him money in the bank. They're not going to, but I agree. He's one of the MVPs, certainly, if not the MVP of 2025 so far. He's had a couple of great matches this year. Trill Mexican, Bliss fan and Tongaloa fan, duking it out while Solomonster instigates it between the two. Meanwhile, I'm just vibing to Back to Love. Just lost my sister-in-law to cancer Wednesday, so thank you for your reviews. I'm telling you, man, there's just too many people. I'm sorry to hear that. Too many people. And Classic Steve. Bliss fan, Tongaloa fan at Hog. Loser faces Charles Mason. I like that. I like the way you think. I like the way you think. Holy shit. That was a lot of messages, but I like it. I love it. I love the interaction. Well, in case you were wondering, we are currently sitting at 1,400 plus on the likes count, which is well beyond the goal. But we had a super chat goal tonight as well that you guys broke about 2.5 hours ago. So we are going to do 2 rounds of Be the Booker. Yuri says Beetlejuice, Scissorhands, or Nightmare Before Christmas. Beetlejuice. That's easy. You kidding me? That's easy. Fire Panda. 5 gifted memberships from Fire. Oh, 3. Well, it's not as good, but okay. 3 gifted members. No, it is 5. Oh, I'm dyslexic now. Now it's too late. I can't read. 5 gifted. I said 5. Then I said no, it's 3. Then I corrected myself. 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Fire Panda. What is wrong with me? Let's be the booker.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to be the booker.
Well, Cody did not sell his soul, but somebody else did. It was always going to be somebody else if it wasn't going to be Cody. Cody had to know this. He had to know this. All right, tag team be the booker. Here we go. This is always fun. And look at David. David's getting in on the fun now. David says, if you do 5, I can do 5. Thank you, David. Look at the sea of green. I love it. Oh my goodness. We begin tag team be the booker with the former, I shit you not, WCW tag team champions, Rick Steiner and Judy Bagwell. Now, I don't know if they officially were ever recognized as tag team champions, but I know that whoever the champion was, they surrendered their title to her. This was a real thing, by the way. This is not AI. Rick Steiner and Judy Bagwell. And you wonder why WCW is dead. Rick Steiner and Judy Bagwell against the Young Bucks. Not the way I wanted to begin Be the Booker. And by the way, that's classic. That's classic Russo. Vince Russo has struck again. We just started Be the Booker and he's already struck. Terrible. Terrible. Mandy Rose is with us tonight. Look at Wade. But what's Wade looking at? What do you think Wade Barrett is looking at? What is he looking at in this image? Mandy Rose, former NXT Women's Champion. He'll be taking on Raquel Rodriguez. How are we feeling about this? Bell or Buzz? Raquel and Mandy. Man, we're going to have the opposite of a clean sweep. I'm not liking this. I'm not liking this. Jake the Snake Roberts is in our main event. Remember, this is only round 1. We got one more round to go. Jake the Snake Roberts against Roman Reigns. How about that? The Tribal Chief and Jake the Snake in our main event. Imagine Paul Heyman and Jake the Snake cutting promos on each other. That'd be great. That would be a hell of a deal right there, is what that would be. Now, I promised you hit the goal, so we're going to have 2 rounds. And as is customary for the second round, we're going to go with stipulations for each of these matches. We have a bunch of stipulations here at random. We don't know what it's going to land on. And we will start with Tag Team Be the Booker. But I'm going to pick a stipulation. And we are starting with Tony Khan's dream match. There it is. Tony Khan has all of his toys. He is mixing and matching, and he's picking his favorite wrestlers. And so we get to book a Tony Khan dream tag team match here in Be the Booker. How exciting. Well, let's see. Tony and his toys. You never know what we're going to land on here. Wow. Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man, Randy Savage, the Mega Powers. Never tag team champions, but when I was growing up, Mega Powers were the shit. Mega Powers are going to be wow, look at this against the Rock and Sock Connection. Man, that means we're going to get Randy Savage and Mick Foley in the ring together. Rock and Sock and the Mega Powers. That is truly a dream match. That is Tony Khan's dream match. See, now we're making up for what we did in the last round. We're making up for whatever that garbage was. Well, now we're going to have a hair match. Oh, no, it's a women's match, too. Uh-oh. Someone's going home bald. Oh, man, this is not the stipulation for the ladies. A women's hair match. One of these women is getting shaved on her head. Trish Stratus. We just saw Trish Stratus tonight. Looking lovely as always. Trish is going to put her hair on the line tonight. Look at this. In Toronto. At the Rogers Center. Trish Stratus against Nikita Lyons in a hair match. I mean, I know what you're going to say. I mean, just for the photo alone, right? We have to give this the bell. So, I mean, could it be any other way? You'd all come at me with pitchforks if I gave this the buzzer. Well, there you go. There you go. Trish Stratus and Nikita Lyons. That's quite the pinning combination, I must say. Well, we have one match left to go. I'm sorry. I must pull myself away from this here. We have one more match to book. Bald Trish looks good. An exploding barbed wire death match. Okay. Let's see. We are going to have well, if you're going to have a main event, you got to go out in style here. So, exploding barbed wire death match. We begin with Christian Cage, the former TNT and possibly soon to be AEW World Champion. Christian Cage. In the main event. In an exploding barbed wire death match. Against Pete Dunne. See, that's not really a stipulation that works for these guys. These guys are not really hardcore guys. And as a main event? I'm sorry. I can't. I can't do it. We were close. We were close to a sweep, but I'm sorry. I can't do it. It's an interesting match. Well, look, we got no sweeps tonight, but we did have some interesting matches. We just couldn't get it done. It happens sometimes. Hydrograd, Cena's heel theme intro by Def Rebel. You thought you couldn't see me. Well, now you do. It's too long. It's too long. It doesn't work. David Thiering, thank you again for the gifted memberships. And Randall the Sandal is closing us out. Been a fan and a listener for a long time. Just want to show some love to the Solomonster. You're the best. Randall, that means a lot. Thank you. Especially now that we are almost 3.5 hours into this stream. You guys were amazing tonight. We topped out somewhere over 4,200, I do believe. Maybe a little bit more. I wasn't always paying attention, but you guys killed it tonight on a very historic night. A night that we will not soon forget. The heel turn of John Cena just made WrestleMania season a hell of a lot more interesting. So I'm going to have a lot more to say about this on the podcast later today. Probably not until much later in the afternoon, but there will be a brand new episode 903 going up later today. So make sure you check that out. Check out all the other content on the channel. And then we'll be live again for the Monday Night Raw post show on Monday night. That'll be very interesting. I don't know if John Cena is going to be on the show or The Rock is going to be on the show, but there'll be a lot of fallout, I'm sure, from the Elimination Chamber. So be well. Stay safe. Over 1,400 likes, man. You guys killed it. Hit that like button on the way out, and I will see you back here for more Sound Off live on YouTube very soon. Heel Cena. Can you believe it? It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll see you guys soon.